Hello, hello, hello out there, internet land, for another exciting episode of Dungeons and Dragons Dark Sun and our namesake debut of the ASHENed WAGON adventures. I'm really excited to show off all the new screens and stuff I've created and our logo, and we're pretty much decided we're like official at this point, for lack of a better term.
We've decided.
Broctimus Prime.
It is time.
It is time. Welcome in, friend. Yes, it is time. We've been doing this, forever as friends, and we started the stream a little over a year ago, moving on like about a year and a half at this point. But
pretty much.
We feel like we've got a good pace here, and we've got some good equipment. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and we will continue to do so, but we feel like we have a pretty solid foothold into this. So, John, if you want to go ahead and take it over from there, I'll let you pick up where we left off in our story.
Welcome, weary travelers. I think that's gonna be my tagline to open up the stream. Is welcome, weary travelers, to another adventure on Dark Sun. Last time we had some shit go down in the mountain, the Breaking Mountain area of Athos. The party had finally confronted the air cultists of Arisi and her ilk. Jesse gave them a chance to surrender. They kind of spit in his face, and battle ensued. After a very brief assault by what was his name? Thurl and his wyvern.
Thurl, yeah.
Which ended in tragedy for everyone involved.
It was not tragic for Snafu.
It was not. No, it was triumphant for Snafu. You guys had fought your way up the mountainside, kind of pressing their forces, while Jared and Malagaz had kind of secretly ridden the lift up to confront Arisi. Long story short, Arisi was defeated and burned to a crisp by the fiery spells of both, Pyretta and the psychic attacks and just constant, effect.
Just denial on his part.
What's the word I'm looking for? Debuffs. Just debuff city was her residence for that whole fight. So, that being the case, you guys have defeated her, claimed her weapon, which I don't think anybody wanted to attune to because you knew it was kind of cursed, and has sort of left the immediate region, kind of withdrawing back to your battle fortress, the Siegebreaker. It is still the night of that raid. It has been a pretty boisterous evening. There's about 30 cultists from the air cult had joined the forces of the crashing wave cult. So Jesse has been overseeing the transition of a lot of these people. And I'm going to mark today's off on your initiative, your intrigue tracker. All right. So starting off with Minor. It's been a pretty long day. You guys had some rough going of it here and there. You are kind of looking out at the night sky, is turning from its usual reddish orange to more of a soft purple and a blue. And you can notice that a lot of the Skull Crushers are already drunk. They're probably drunk before the fight happened. But now they're especially getting deeper and deeper into the broy and the wine that they brought with them. And the whole camp is kind of settling down for the evening.
Honestly, I wanted to talk to Jesse's character, but
Jesse is getting online right now, so he's not with us yet, but I can roleplay as
I kind of wanted to get a feel for what's
Kiliani.
next. What's the plan here? What are we doing here?
Kiliani is, as you sort of go to approach him, he's talking with his lieutenants, Baraka and Jarek, kind of, and speaking to a few of the air cultists here. So he's a bit busy at the time being. Would you want to say maybe wait until? Oh, is that him right there?
Yeah.
That is him right there. Okay. Bruce Kusland himself, Jesse, has joined us. As I was just describing, Jesse, it's the evening after the raid on the Wind Temple, or the Wind Tribe encampment. You guys are in possession of the Wind Spear. You have 30 recent converts to your cult of the Crashing Wave. Your people have been kind of getting them acclimated, while a lot of your Skull Crushers have basically been drinking themselves into oblivion. But as the night kind of goes on, you see Snafu is kind of trying to get your attention.
Yes, short one.
Raises a little eyebrow at that, but continues on.
A little eyebrow.
So what's the next step here?
Well, is the Earth Tribe anywhere nearby?
Thinking
What's our
to yourself,
intelligence say?
you're kind of in the middle between like the valley that would lead to the volcano of the Fire Tribe, and the wastelands to the east. You know that the Shatterstone Pass, where the Earth Tribe has been dwelling.
So, like, looking at the map, say that again.
D, off to the east, the
where
Shatterstone
the-
Pass is where the Earth Tribe has been operating out of.
Got it.
And you guys are pretty close to that valley that leads to the volcano where the fire cult is.
Okay, gotcha. That's where I thought. Okay, and that's where they said, yeah. That's where they told us the entrance was. Okay.
So like they're there.
I'm just looking for ways to prep myself better rather than just finding out we're at the doorstep of the next people we need to attack. And trying to find ways to be more useful than cooking food. And
Just to say, you could just as easily work your way up to the Temple of Elemental Evil, the Mausoleum of Shavarm, or that there's some people encamped out that would like to speak to you.
I guess if I know what the game plan is, I can at least react accordingly if we're separated or something, or not able to ask you right in the heat of battle or something.
He's the guest. We just go straight to the Mausoleum of Shavarm.
I mean, you were invited to speak to the leader there, Alex.
Anyone opposed to that idea?
Sounds like a plan to me.
So it looks like the temple is going to be your next destination, probably in the morning. I will say, with as deep into their cups as everyone is, you probably won't be leaving till tomorrow morning.
So what's the plan for there? We just go there and talk to somebody?
You've been invited to speak with Calyx.
Well, that's what I'm asking Jesse here.
I'll go there, see what they have to say, potentially kill a bunch of people.
So, a bit of our standard operating procedures, I guess.
Yeah. If we need to, we can, if things get resolved peacefully there, or we get sent on another quest based on what they have to say. The fire cult is nearby, and we can always take them out too.
I'll say you guys kind of discussed that for a few more minutes. I'll go to you, Jeremy. It's been a long day. You kind of have been, I'll say, resting in the kind of the shadier part of the Siegebreaker. You had a bit of a military action today. You led some troops up the hill. You lost some people, but your operation was more or less a success. You kind of sit there with your hammer, your various weapons, and kind of get a nice drink going. What's going through Ragnars's mind right now as you kind of looking toward the next target, toward the next objective.
Wrong button. Found it. What have I heard of the temple in the past?
Give me a knowledge history, or just not knowledge history, just a history.
That'll be a solid 5.
Well, a solid 5. With that, I'd say that you've heard more or less the surface details of what everyone's been saying around here in like the Freedom region. That it was a ruin that has been kind of forgotten because like anybody who tries to trespass on it has been like ripped apart by these stone guardians. But only recently have things been kind of stirring and calling to those sensitive to kind of the elemental powers to come, give service. But still nobody has gone inside the temple. It's more or less been an encampment out surrounding the grounds.
And we're in Freedom right now?
You are currently, if you look at the map where I put the party token, you're currently at the Wind Tribe encampment, or the ruins of the Wind Tribe encampment that you guys had battled last time we met.
How long would it take me to get to Freedom?
I'd say if you took a mount, you could get there, because it's probably about 8 p.m.-ish in Athos time. You would get there probably around 10, like a couple hours.
And then our plan is to leave in the morning then?
Your plan would be to leave in the morning. There's so many soldiers that are like already drunk that there's no way you're gonna be moving tonight.
In Freedom, would there be anybody like a lore keeper or a scholar or something like that?
You know that there's a record keeper that you spoke to before, so there most likely would be some kind of lore keeper, yes.
All right, I'd like to go up to Freedom and talk to this guy then.
Okay. Is this something you want to do like secretively, or you want to like tell anybody where you're going?
No, I'll let the party know I'm going to Freedom, and if they want to tag along, they can come with. I'm just gonna go up there.
There are enough mounts if anybody wants to join him.
I'll go with him, just to make sure he's not getting bamboozled by somebody.
Make sure I don't get in any trouble.
And that.
I don't need you to hold my hand anymore, Dad.
As you guys kind of mount up, Pyretta, give me a perception test real quick.
Oh,
Jeremy, you don't need him, but you still want him to.
Exactly. He's playing hard to get.
plus 10, so 16.
16. You notice that kind of during all of the chaos here, before when you walked away from that shrine, you had like no kind of communion with spirits. It was like a dead zone.
Yeah.
Now that the shrine itself has been burned down and destroyed, you can sort of sense, you can see the signs that the wind spirits are kind of reclaiming this area. You can see that where there was no breeze once that the cult was like destroyed, now you can see the windmills up top like kind of turning in the breeze, but you don't feel any breeze down here. But you can see signs that like the spirits are rediscovering this shrine.
Okay, she feels elated, of course, and even more determined to confront the others.
With this information, what is it that is kind of going through Pyretta's mind right now, as you guys have just kind of liberated this area from one of the four cults?
She's feeling very conflicted, angry in one hand, pensive on the other. She's quite aware the earth and the fire temples are probably going to be the two that kind of strike home closest to her. She wants to try to research if she has any available means, the Fire Prince Imex, and if she can find anything on the Earth Temple, or Earth Shrine, excuse me.
Okay. With that, you do see your two fellows kind of getting ready. You overhear them that they're going to ride to Freedom. Is that something that you'd be interested in joining them, or do you think that you're going to stick at the camp for tonight?
Sounds like the perfect place to start my investigation. I'll gladly join them.
Okay. So we see as the three of you guys, Pyretta, Melagaz, and Ragnar ride off with a few of the Crodlu, the birds, sort of chocobo-esque birds striding across the grasslands. Jesse, you sort of see you see these fellows gonna run back to freedom. You're kind of busy coordinating with these new cultists that you've got in. You've won a major victory, and you finally get this moment of like 5 minutes of just like nobody's asking you any questions, nobody's trying to get your opinion on something. What's going through Kiliani's mind right now?
That just is one step closer to bringing elemental equilibrium of this plane under all Hydra's control.
With that thought of all Hydra finally pricking up in your brain, you do sort of get a smell of like a sea breeze on the air, and you're not fully transported, but you do hear like a voice in your head that says, "Congratulations, my champion. You have won a great victory against the air cult. Yansi Bin, the Stormlord, is not pleased. I can hear him all the way over in his plane, thundering and fuming about his defeat."
I'll say he's merely just the first of many.
It's good to hear. I have one bit of warning for you. This being, this Calyx, he possesses powers much like yours. His is of a priestly nature. Yours is that of an avenger. Do not let his tricks and his wiles corrupt your mind. He will offer brotherhood. He will offer salvation. But what he offers is a deception. I have felt the force in Shivarm. It feels foreign. Not of our plane. Not of Athos, at least. Be aware that there might be more going on in Shivarm than what is most obvious.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
I was gonna say be prepared, but be
K-Star. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he can't be a follower brought into the fold. He might just have to be eliminated.
That sounds like something that might be necessary, but like I said, as she kind of fades away, like just be careful. And her presence kind of pulls from your mind. And as you kind of turn around, you see the canvas finally kind of settle down for the night. What would you like to do with your evening?
I just want to go over like logistics. If I remember right, at the water temple, I left Ari there, right?
Ari is at the water temple along with Gar
And I sent that-
and a few of the sand vipers or the dune vipers to
Yeah,
secure
I-
that area.
I sent a third of them there.
Yep.
Okay. So I have Jarek and Faraka with me.
Yes, Jarek and Varaka are with you.
Is there going to be room on the thingamabob?
The Siegebreaker?
Yes, the siege
For what?
breaker for these new cultists.
Not immediately. 30 more people on board is going to be kind of a stretch. But they're willing. They're willing to walk. Like it's not like they're out in the middle of the desert. The Freedom region in Shivarm is like an oasis kind of. There's a lot of natural aquifers in this region. That's kind of why Freedom was settled. It's a nice nestled little like pocket of nature It's not like the most abundant farmland and like stuff like that, but it's not like actively trying to kill you all the time. So
Gotcha. Well, I just want to make it clear to all of them that, what was the wind guy's name?
Yan Si Bin.
Yeah, all worship of Yancy Bin is no more.
You see, Jarek has made a fire and like is like they're burning all the effigies of Yan Si Bin and all the religious iconography of him.
In fact, his name is considered a curse now. If you utter it, you are to be put to the stake.
You are to be put to the test.
You know, they're still permitted, in fact, encouraged to practice, you know, using the wind. But all worship and thanks goes to All Hydra for permitting them to continue such practices.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check on that. Or intimidation. Whichever, either the open hand or the closed fist, however you want to try to sway these people.
Oh, on Conquest Paladin's gotta be intimidation. 19.
19. You see they're sufficiently cowed by threats of just complete and utter destruction, so that they have kind of like, yes, master, yes, and are starting to like more enthusiastically burn their Yancy Bin memorabilia as a sort of a side effect. I will say that you have kind of inspired them less to be cultists. We'll just worship the wind spirits, but we'll do it in Hydra's name. Yes. So you might have affected their faith in more ways than one. But as you're doing that, Snafu, you kind of got a sense of what's going to be happening the next couple of days. So you have the road out in front of you. Like, what do you want to do?
So, let's see. Jeremy and Micah are heading to Freedom, right?
Yes. Jeremy, Micah, and Pyretta.
Yes.
Okay. So Jesse's still hanging around the.
Jesse is spending the night, like, making sure his people don't revolt.
I guess I'll stick around with Jesse. I don't split up the party too much here, so
Okay.
just help keep an eye on things, I guess, and prep what I need. You know, prep some food for the whole convoy as best I can, and all that.
Okay. I say if you want to have any preparations you want to get done, go ahead, and you may prepare any poisons or prepare any of your snafu recipes that you'd like to try.
Yeah, let's see what I have. I'm
Your
getting
snafu?
short on some ingredients.
You could go ingredient hunting nearby. That is something you can do.
Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know how many insect parts I can find around in these parts.
Well, I mean, bug life is pretty, prevalent on Athos, so shouldn't be too hard to find something. If you're looking for bug parts, go ahead and give me a survival test.
Just leave out
Let's try
some
digitally here.
Just leave out some fruit for a while. You'll be fine.
How about a 22?
22. You find a hive of what look to be like a small like an ant hill, and the ants are sort of the size of like house cats. They're very large ants. You can also tell that they're mildly psychic as well. They kind of have a hive mind. You can see that their mound is about 4 feet high. If you tried, you could dig it down into the tunnels, but you might want to have like backup for something that auspicious. So what you could do with this 22 is, if you would like, I'm gonna roll a number here, and you'll get that many bug/psychic components with that 22.
Yeah, right. I was looking to see what other options I might have, but nah, I don't have a whole lot of.
I see. If you want to roll one more time at like a -5, you could try to find something different.
Nah, I mean, Snafu ain't afraid. He's just got to make sure he's doing this in a smart way.
Okay, give me one more survival test then, to execute this hunt.
How about a 30?
All right. With that 30, you spend your time picking off kind of like the workers that you see kind of straying from the pack. You are going to get 10 bug parts and 7 psychic components.
I don't have notes on psychic components.
They are going to be like the things you use to make like weapon oils and waxes and stuff like that. It'll just be it's a part of like poison style ingredients or like fire components and stuff like that. They're just another thing you can use to make like weaponry and whatnot.
Okay, so should I put that down as poison components then?
Nope, it's 10 bug parts and 7 psychic components.
Okay. I will have to confer with you a bit more later on what I can do with the psychic components.
That's all good. But with that, with your giant Santa's sack of bug parts carrying back to the camp, we kind of cut back and we see the 3 heroes riding across the grasslands. It takes a couple hours, but you guys arrive at nighttime in Freedom. You see the lights of the city kind of as a sprawling field of fireflies kind of in this deep nestled part of the mountain range. I will shift our map back to Freedom. And as you guys kind of ride up, you notice that the ship that Micah has been using as sort of like the base of operations for the Sand Vipers here has been fully repaired. There was a big hole in it from when they fought the Earth cultists, but it is, back to ship shape. And you can see that the commander, what's her name? Let me see here. Little notes. Pardon my note checking here. Linnaeus. As Linnaeus kind of sees you ride up, she waves you past. And as you guys ride into the city, you see it's pretty good spirits. The welcome wench the wayward wench, excuse me, is hopping. You see a lot of people drinking outside, kind of on the patio. Got some mixed drinks going out there. There's actually a fiddle player, kind of like, light entertainment. And you see the town is kind of enjoying a little bit of relaxation. I guess I'll start back up at the top. And Jeremy.
Toss a coin to your licher.
I don't know why it keeps changing my voices. All right. Yeah, let's try and find this lore master.
Your instincts are to maybe try the guild hall. That's where a lot of the records are being kept, most likely. I mean, you could check the town hall if you want, but that's kind of like a hit or miss, because they're more or less just concerned about like the town of Freedom itself.
I'll go to the guild hall.
All right. As you walk into the guild hall, you can see it's a large, what used to be a sort of palatial estate that's been turned into like a city building. As it's night, you can see there's not many people there. One gnomish clerk not gnome, they're dead. We'll go dwarf, a female dwarf, completely bald, kind of sitting behind the desk. She's got like a large red stamp and a blue stamp, and she either blue stamping and putting it in one pile or red stamping and putting it in one pile. Just a big stack of scrolls. As you walk in, she looks up. Is like, "Oh, we're closed. What? Come back tomorrow." And she just thunk, just keeps stamping.
I grab the stack of papers and I look at him. What is she stamping?
You see that they're claim notices about We found this ore in this cave. This belongs to this person. We found this artifact. It belongs to this person. It's just basically settling like petty claims between like guilds. She kind of looks up and says, I mean, can I help you with something? She kind of cranes her head up to look at your half-giant frame, kind of shadowing over her.
I'll take like a knee, so we're kind of closer to eye level.
Okay. Her eyes kind of widen, but she's not getting up or yelling for help or anything.
Who would be somebody who would know the history of the area the most?
Well, I mean, there's a few people. She kind of stammers. Well, the town leaders, they obviously have been here the longest. There's a half giant like yourself, yeah. Yeah, if you want to check with Obun, he's the guy down at the. He's probably at the Wayward Wench by now. But yeah, check with Obun. He's been here like the longest.
All right, I'll be on my way then, and just kind of boogie.
You take
Okay.
the papers.
Nah, I do the thing where you like tap them on the desk so they're like nice and neat, and then I'm like, there you go.
There you go.
The desk creaks under their light tap. And just thum, thum, your echoing footsteps kind of falling away. You can hear the dwarf kind of like, oh god, as you close the door. As you kind of walk down the way back toward 2 and 3, I'll cut to Micah. You see Jeremy kind of walk off toward 1, to sort of see what's up there. Are you gonna follow him, or do you want to maybe check on something by yourself, or?
I mean, I guess I have history. Could I just see if I can recall anything?
Yeah, you can do that.
Nat 20, so that's 29.
Nat 20. All right.
You have
Oh well.
photographic
With that,
memory of the actual events you're trying to recall.
I was actually there when it was founded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can recall from like the stone tablet that you had discovered, and a couple other things. As you sort of like, you can flag Jeremy down to sort of like share the same information with him. But you know that long ago, it was a temple dedicated to a certain type of god or deity, but not like one that you would essentially call like a traditional god. But it was so evil kind of throughout like the land, and before the cleansing wars, 4 clans of druids came together to do battle and make war upon that temple, and they defeated whatever force was inside, sealed it with the skull of the high priest of that cult, and then closed the gates, protecting it with that sealed item that they created. Is there anything else you want to know about that area?
I came all the way to
I'll ask
freedom and
Jeremy
just
if there's
remembered.
anything else.
No, I just kind of want to get the lowdown on the temple and if there's any like tips, tricks, wall hacks.
Well, nobody's
wall
been in
hacks.
there.
Well, if you go to the northwest corner of the first floor and turn around to face the wall, and if you crouch
how do I
and throw a weapon,
any % speed around the temple of elemental evil?
Yeah, I'm looking at least 18 minutes or less.
oh
No,
well,
no, no,
we
no, we're gonna go
might
for
be able to
15.
do that. But yeah, there's I'll say with that nat 20, there are most likely some secrets, and I will kind of tip my hand. There are a few secrets in the temple. There would be ludicrous to think that like a cult would not build shortcuts or like secret passageways in like their grand temple.
Okay. Sorry, I kind of spaced for a second. Who do we get this info from again?
It's Micah. He was like, "Oh yeah."
Okay. Well,
I mean, you could
guess
still
I'll-
check with the town, like the town leadership, and see if they know anything additionally. But
Yeah, why not? We're here.
Yeah, say that's just like the history of it. So I mean, there may be more current stuff.
all right, as you guys are kind of making your way down to the tavern, Jarrett, you kind of see them walking toward the Wayward Wench. You've been sort of just hanging out here with the mounts. What would you like to do while you're here in town?
As I said before, I kind of want to research more about the Fire and Earth temples, but it almost sounds like that's what they're doing already, so I might not really see a reason to separate, to be honest.
Give me a perception test.
Okay. 11 plus 10, 21.
You can see that this town was sort of built in like a sort of natural depression, and you can see that like part of the hilltop, kind of like next to where the tower is, you see what appears to be an old druid like conclave circle of stones that has sort of like been tucked away. If you're not looking for it, you'd think it was just like, oh, it's probably just ruins of some building. You know specifically that that's like a spirit channeling like area.
Okay. Is it kind of out in the open, or...?
It's right on top. I'm gonna
ping-
draw a little
okay,
shape
that
here.
one, okay.
It's right on top of here.
Funny story, that was the one I was looking at, too. Okay, I'll kind of get the other two's attention. And if they want to follow me, wait, or just meet up later, that's up to them, but I'll just let them know that that's where I'm going to head to go check out.
You guys want to go with Jared, or you guys want to stick around in the town center?
I'll go with Jared just because, yeah.
Okay.
Things she
How about you,
gets
Jeremy?
herself into.
I'm good at investigating.
You're like, last time I backed her up, we made something happen, so...
If they're gonna go there, I might want to go to the tavern and see if I can hear any rumors about the place.
Okay. So you kind of tuck into the Wayward Wench. You just immediately kind of like get sucked into the merriment of the evening. You guys just like fucking old school like Looney Tunes is one of those like circular like hook canes kind of comes out, grabs him by the neck and hauls him in. You guys make your way up to the hilltop, kind of like walking past the trading post, kind of up to where there's some estates and like a bit of a mining area up there. You can see that there's an old stone path, but it is kind of eroded away. If you want to get your way up to the spirit circle, go ahead and give me an athletics test.
Athletics?
Yep.
6 kicker, so 30-20.
Does Melagos climb or does Melagos fly?
Malagos is not a dirty peasant.
To not muddy my feet with this earth.
Mainly because he has an athletics of 2, but that's beside the point. But yeah.
I can contact other planes of existence, but I can't run a mile in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can't have min-max stats.
You
all
fucking
the
nerd.
time, you know? Right.
To be fair, that athletics of 2 is better than Snavu's athletics of 1.
Which makes no
True.
sense.
Right.
Well, he's
Well,
got to
athletics
take
is
like
based off strength. I'm Dex.
he's got to take like 4 steps for every regular step.
That is true. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm like
I guess
Mob.
they just kind of measure how swole you are. I guess like acrobatics would be more how like fast and dexterous.
Oh yeah, my acrobatics is a 5. So.
There you go. But as you drift up and you climb up, you can see that there's definitely been like a forgotten area up here. And as you kind of crest the top, you can see even in this like dirty, like grimy, like kind of mining area, there is a bit of green up here. You can see there's some fronds of like some green sort of like scathed grass, almost like tough, like like the prickly weeds. and some of the just desert foliage. But you do see a circle of standing stones that have been kind of worn away with the wind, and a small altar, probably about 3 feet tall, 5 feet long. And there's nothing on it, like no cloth or no scrolls, but there is carved incantations or not incantations, but carved instances of giant like bullets, like the burrowing lizard creatures,
Okay.
kind of going through there around the outside.
I'll go check up closer on them and see if I can, maybe make out the writing if there's any on it, the runes or glyphs or whatever there might be.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana or a religion. Give me a religion.
Nat 17 with a 2 kicker, so it's 19.
Most likely this place would be most likely aligned with the Earth tribe that you heard of. The fire tribe that you had heard had worshipped the salamander. You saw that the air tribe had worshipped the rock, and the air tribe had worshipped the rock, and this earth tribe has worshipped the bullet.
Kerchow.
Do I pull any significance out of this? Is this like a ritual site or something?
As before with that, you can tell this is definitely a spiritual communing circle. If there was a place, there's a place in Honko Village tied to the life spirit that they worship there, that you would use for druidic functions like graduating, like Padawans into full druids. This would definitely be like a religious site, but it has definitely been neglected.
It's a suicide hill.
it's not that's a superstition. Wink, wink.
I guess if it makes sense, I would like to sit here and maybe tidy up / repair to the best of my ability, and maybe sit down and meditate, see if I can commune with anything here, if I can hear Athos here.
Okay, you're gonna give me a nature check.
And approximately how long do you think this would be taking me? I don't want to just
each nature check is gonna take about an hour.
Okay, I'm gonna let Malagaz know what I'm doing. If I just don't want to black out in front of him and have him be like, "Well, okay, now what?" But
Oh no, that's totally normal in the world I come from.
exactly, like one of those fainting goats,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll inform Malagaz, I might be here for a short while. I mean, if you want to camp out, that's cool, but I'll understand if you want to take care of something while you're here.
Malagos, actually give me a perception test while you're up here. Or an investigation, excuse me, investigation.
Let's see. That is an investigation 10.
You find, while he's kind of tidying up, you do find a clay sort of bracelet that would kind of slip a hand through. It's the size of a halfling's wrist, so it'd be like a large ring to you could put 2 fingers through it, but it's got that bullet kind of motif to it. You can tell it's a relatively important piece. Definitely would carry some clout with some druids, but you could also trade it for probably some pretty coin.
Okay, well, I'll show it to Jared before he sits down just to see if he gets any significance from it.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out if I recognize it from my time with the Snafu or the AWOL clan.
It's definitely a casting focus. You could tell.
Okay, I was about to say, do I need to roll an Arcana check to see if it's magical?
You would, but because you have Jared, you're gonna have Jared check it out. He would know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Jared, your casting focus is very similar. You have a depiction of the life spirit kind of as a necklace.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do what I can. Do I deem it like you said it's a magical item or a magical focus?
It's a casting focus.
Casting focus. Okay. I'll let him know what I know about it.
It does have a bit of magical energy to it.
Perhaps you might want to identify it as you have in the past.
guess I do have time.
She
Yeah,
nods.
if it's something that needs to be identified.
Okay. Yep, you could definitely do that while he's doing his communing with nature.
Perfect.
All right. So go ahead and give me that nature roll, Jared. We'll go ahead and do you first.
I'm actually, before I jump into this, would like to enhance my ability.
Okay.
If it's
He's
a
gonna
nature
smoke
check.
a mad bowl.
That's
before he
right.
does
He's
I'm
gonna
doing a
get
ritual before the ritual.
Super high.
Alright, hold on. Okay, took a hit. We're good. Alright, I'm gonna do intelligence for the nature roll. I'm glad I did, because that first one was the 6, and the second one.
So 19 total?
30, no,
Or-
plus 7 on top of that, so 26.
Okay.
That first one was sucked.
You go through and kind of contact the spirits through this, and you see your perspective kind of burrowing through the earth. And you can tell that because this shrine has kind of been secreted away, that there's still like a fragment of Earth's power here. You can see, however, to the far east, not the far east, like probably like 5 miles east, the Shatterstone Pass. And as you kind of worm your willpower in there, you can actually see that for the most part, as you're sort of seeing through the eyes of the Earth totem that they have corrupted to be the Shrine of Ogremok, that the temple itself is most likely pretty empty. You are not surrounded by worshippers or followers. There's no other druids or cultists kind of around in the main chamber that you're in right now. And if it's anything like another, main area of a cult, it would normally be buzzing with activity. If you want to give me a perception test at disadvantage,
Okay.
you can sort of perceive outside of the statue's limited range of perception.
11 and a 9. I'll take the 9 with the 10 kicker, so 19.
As you kind of look around, kind of pushing against the restraints, it'd be like pushing your face against the bars of a cage to like look around a corner. You were able to see that the main chamber behind the Ogremok shrine, which is it was originally the carapace of a great bullet, looked like the size of like a triceratops, but has been sort of corrupted and painted with the Ogremok symbols all over it. You can tell that the chamber behind is filled with statues of humans and other various peoples of Athos, and kind of in various states of surprise, and sometimes of like looking like they're begging for mercy. And they make a sort of crude gallery leading to this door that is sort of carved into the earth itself. And you can see in through that door where there was a great sort of like a grand chamber, that no one is there.
Okay. This is a lot to take. Alright, do I sense that this might be recent, real time, long ago?
It's you can see the night sky above you. Like if you crane your head up, there's a hole in like whatever natural cavern that they're using for their base, that can see the night sky, and it is the same moon, the same stars. You can tell it is nighttime.
Beretta will try to reach out to whatever power that is allowing her to see this and let it know we are coming to help you, to ease your burden. If you can help us in any way, we'll appreciate it, but soon your pain will end.
As you say that, you sort of get a hazy sense of gratitude, but also kind of like a sense of like, it's like, I appreciate the thought, but don't put too much into this. We're very weak, very strained, but there is a sense of gratitude.
Okay, I will put forth the sense of feeling I had when I first saw that avatar of Earth with the first druids we met a long time ago at this point. Knowing that I've come in touch with that, and I know that strength, and hopefully I can pass it on soon.
Okay.
But that being said, I assume the trance is just about done.
Yeah, it's basically you've discovered you could essentially just spy on the Earth cult through this this sort of shrine.
Alright, yeah, more or less just leave it with that. Keep up hope, we will be there soon, sort of feel.
As you do that, go ahead and get an inspiration.
Thank you.
You, Micah, as you go ahead and identify, I am looking for a book in particular. Give me one more moment here. Where the heck? Okay, I can tell you that it has the spirits of Earth are definitely within this bracelet. It gives you access to some abilities that will allow you to move Earth and to Earth walk. Essentially, it's going to give you the spells. Hold up. It gives you Wall of Stone once per day. It's a 5th level spell. And where is that other spell? I'll give you a sec. I'll give you the spell in a second, but it's gonna be meld into stone. That's a spell. It's also gonna get that once per day.
Okay.
I'll drop a link to those in the chat. And as you guys gonna climb down from that, we go into the window of the Wayward Wench. It's pretty boisterous that night. The broy's flowing pretty easily. And Jeremy, you can see the table of the kind of the town leaders in the back is kind of higher above and sort of out of the way, like the sort of the main tap room. You can see the candles, the torches are lit. There's a harp player in the middle with a kind of a singer. Definitely like some performers kind of in the middle. It's a pretty boisterous night. What would you like to do?
How many council members are there?
There are 3.
I go up to the bar. I grab 4 big glasses of broy, and I walk over to their table, lay down 3, 1 for myself, and I sit down and I start talking.
Okay. As you sit down, you can see that you're surrounded by another half giant, a half elf woman, and a mull man, kind of like older, like kind of graying beard. He's got like a leather apron on and just like permanently sunburnt skin. You interrupt their conversation. He's put down 3 big clay mugs of broy, and they kind of stop whatever they're talking about, and they're like, "Oh, yes, you're one of the helpers of the from Balak. Was it Rocknar? Rocknar, yes. Join us, lad."
Oh, thanks for having me.
The woman Wuvo, the spellcaster half-elf woman, kind of leans and says, "Yes. As I was saying, the damage wasn't that bad. The earthquake mostly hit the northern end of town, but I don't think it did that much damage. Nothing at the surface, at least." And Obun, the large, kind of like granite black and gray half giant, just says, "I agree. I'm glad it didn't interrupt any of the mining operations. These people from Balak really want their ore bad." And he kind of looks at you and just nudges you, with an elbow. He says, "But yeah, we should be able to get some shipments going soon." They all kind of turn to you and like, "Well, how is I heard you were in battle today. You're supposed to be encountering the Wind Tribe. How did that go?"
It went. It came and went, and then you don't have to worry about them anymore.
It was a breeze.
And they all just, all right, and they clink glasses and drink. "I'll drink to that," and then drink. The other man, the Mull Cillian, kind of looks up and says, "Oh, what's the rest of your crew? If it's that easy of a victory for you, are the rest of the members of your party back in town as well?"
No, they are preparing for tomorrow's expedition. Today, I came here to try and gather some information.
Oh, well, I mean, it's we don't have much of the way of reference here, but what do you need?
How do I make ooh, can I use my warlock power to dim all the lights right around me, and have the shadows cover my face, and so I can be real low, the Temple of Elemental.
Yes, you can do that. As you extend your newfound arcane powers outwards, you can kind of dim the lights, and their brightness kind of is bent to your will, and they are dimmed temporarily as you utter the Temple of Elemental Evil.
I don't want to interrupt you, John, but I pray that they are unfazed by oh yeah, Temple of Elemental Evil, whatever.
Well, let's see. You see it kind of just bounces off of them. They're like, is that close by? They look kind of panicked. Are we in the Temple of Elemental Evil? But they look kind of at each other. They look together and they look at Obun, and Obun kind of looks at you and says, "I've heard some rumors of the Temple of Shavarm. Long ago, my parents referred to it as the Temple of Elemental Evil. They said a bunch of druids a long time ago had done some war upon a cult there. Long time ago. You asking about this place because of the cults? Because of this Calyx guy? I heard he took over the grounds around the temple."
Yeah, so you can probably put
About
two and two
that.
together and figure out that that's where our expedition is leading tomorrow.
Oh, well, good luck to you. I heard that Calyx has got some strange powers.
Well, if you have any assistance you can offer, I would be very gracious. If not, I'll raise my glass and offer a toast and just be like,
I guess I just got you some free broy for no reason. No big deal.
yeah, I'm not gonna lay it on that thick, but I'm gonna with my eyes say that.
Give me an intimidate.
There should be a sexy version of intimidate.
There is. It's persuasion.
There is. Oh shit.
I am amazing.
Wow.
Are you?
That's
Nat 20.
pretty good. Okay.
Intimidating sexily.
He's bringing sexy back.
The three council members kind of look at each other and they're like, you know what?
This guy's pretty sexy.
They look at you and they say, well, we don't have much in the way of Wuvo is like, we don't have much in the way of soldiers. Most of our guard here helping protect the town, along with the some forces you supplied. But there might be some provisions we might be able to help you out with. What is it you're looking for exactly?
Honestly, if you were to just give me any information you have about it, it would be beneficial, but I'll take anything you can give me.
Well, in that case, Wuvo kind of like, she like finishes up her drink and says, "Follow me," and she gets up and kind of leads you out of the bar. As you follow her out to the street, she walks across to number 3, to the town hall building, produces like a large key, turns it in the door, and let's see what she can find for you.
Whoa, a key!
As she kind of goes through, you can see she kind of takes her to her office, and she's got like a large chest kind of off in a corner. You can see that she's most likely, while Obun kind of worries about like the town's like defenses, and Cillian kind of worries about like the mining guilds. She's kind of like the more like, I had to make sure that the businesses and the coin of this community keep up. She gives you a couple things. She gives you a ring that she sort of hands you, says, "This was found on one of the dead cultists. I'm not sure what it does, but I know it's got some sort of significance to them. And it's a ring with that eye symbol."
I accept it graciously.
She also gives you let's see. She hands you another potion and says, "This one, I'm not sure how much someone of your stature will get use out of it, but maybe one of your fellows might. And it's a potion of hill giant strength.
Those are beneath me.
It turns your strength
that
to
would weaken
21.
me.
Yeah. But that is something she does give you. Maybe somebody else can use it for a point, there. She also gives you a potion of greater healing. That's just 44 plus 4.
44 plus 4 or 4?
4-sided dice plus 48.
I thank her for her contribution, and I go on my way to find Micah and Jared.
Okay. As you guys are kind of making your way back down from the Druid Rise, you see Jeremy and Wuvo kind of walking out of the town hall. Jeremy's got a small sack in his hands, kind of turning over a ring in his fingers. You guys walk back up together and kind of meet in front of the bar where your Crodley were all parked.
All right.
Oh man, mine got a boot on it.
It's got a
An
ticket
actual,
for
like,
5
boot.
gold.
I'll fill in Ragnar and Malagaz about what I seen over at the Earth Shrine. Letting them know it might be empty there, but I suspect there could be something turning people into rock. Purely speculation, but that's not completely unheard of on this plane of existence.
So
we have a Ragnar.
the easy pun here is they're a bunch of stoners.
Oh no.
Ooh. I'm gonna take a hit just for
I
that.
mean, it's an old one, but we'll accept it.
We have no shame here.
It's an old code, but it checks out.
No joke, but it checks out. But yeah, you guys kind of get back together. It's about, I'll say you've been in town probably about 2 hours. It's gonna be 10 o'clock at night. If you ride back to the camp, you get back there probably around midnight.
What say you, Capitan?
I'm down for it. never sleep before a big battle anyway. Weekends.
We should probably fill in the others on what we found out too.
Okay. With that, you guys mount up. Jeremy takes care of his ticket in the appellate court, and you guys ride back to the campsite. All right. As the dawn rises on the next day, you guys find yourselves, back here at the camp, each taking a long rest. Some of you kind of rousing a little bit later than the others. You can tell that a lot of the Skull Crushers have a hangover, but they're willing to work through it. As you kind of wake up, you see Jeremy, as you kind of like taking your morning, like doing some morning exercises. You smell Varaka before you hear her behind you, just reeking of booze, and she's just like, "Hey, where were you last night?"
You got a pretty mouth.
Does
Well,
that thing
I
where
was-
she looks from your feet up to your head.
I was with my girlfriend.
Sizing you up.
She's from another plane of existence. You wouldn't know her.
And she's sober. She's prettier than you and she's sober.
She's not an alkie.
She's not a fucking raider. But Varaka kind of uncomfortably follows you around for the rest of the day while you guys are getting ready. And just awkwardly hitting on you like a few times.
Slaps your ass.
We're even on the same team.
game.
You're like, I didn't
Um,
even do anything. She's
yeah.
like, I know.
You didn't have to.
But you guys get mounted up to the
Yeah.
onto the Siegebreaker.
So we hear.
And are you guys riding toward the camp? Making your way toward Shivarm?
I'd say so.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move
Because
our
we have
party
two
token.
other cults to take out, so
Not unless they're here.
As you guys ride up, you can see that through like the woods and the sort of the trail that leads up here, there are ancient signs of like skulls on signs that are written in Halfling that say, turn back.
Hey,
You know-
hey, John.
Yes.
Would that be shorthand?
Yes,
Oh,
it would be
nice.
No.
As you guys ride up, you can tell that there's a vast tent city that has been kind of erected around the outside gates of Shivarm. You can see that upon kind of a craggy hill, surrounded on four sides by an iron gate fence, kind of rusted over and covered in vines, you can see this sort of cross-shaped grand cathedral, a big crenellated top, sitting on top of the topmost dome, and a large eye kind of in ruins, kind of falling up on the wayside, bits and pieces kind of falling to the ground. You can see that a sea of people, probably at least 60 to 70 cult members, easily kind of like weaving through a massive camp, temporary buildings built up, and when the Siegebreaker kind of crests like the forest line, you see a lot of the cultists run to a back tent and sort of you see them like getting some people's attention. As you guys are riding up, everybody give me a perception test.
$17.
18.
Time for my new perception roll.
16.
24.
24. All right. Are you the only person that broke 20?
I think so.
I believe so.
So
As you guys are kind of taking in this great sight, you, Snafu, notice that there is a small encampment on like sort of the far left side, and they are riding like bullets, and they have like a certain sort of like their soldiers are wearing like stone armor, and they have their own encampment here as well. And you can also see a man kind of with a helmet that is covering his eyes, being guided by two stone soldiers, kind of toward like a large central tent.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
weren't the fire cultists at like I forget the map, but either D or E, it's like the burning range or something like
They
that.
were at the burning range, yeah, the
Which is like
volcano.
southwest of here.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So no, they're not here.
Okay, so are we on this map yet? That
You
we're
are
gonna-
kind of being led toward. You see a detachment of cult members kind of coming out, and like you see that they're dressed in these grand black and red robes with a big eye on the chest. And they say, "Who goes there?" They kind of give a few guards level spears and a couple casters. You see them begin to cast spells. Nothing immediate, but you can see that they're beginning to draw the energy from the earth to cast.
Well, I
these
meant
spells.
to ask, like, on this map here that we're looking at, you said it was those rock guys were to our west?
Yes. Let me pull up the old map real quick.
I was just trying to get a reference for on this map here. And what?
Well, this is like the center. This is to be like toward the gates of that map. The Earth people would kind of be off to like if this dot is that tent that screen we were just at, their encampment would be like right here to the far left.
Okay.
But you can see that there's like the camp itself. I'll draw it in blue here. It kind of stretches like this around the base of the hill. But the main area, you can see like where you most likely would assume that Calyx is making his main camp is this dot like right there in front of the main gate. But as you guys are being led out, you can see like you're or whoever is guiding the Siegebreaker has been asked like who goes there.
I do want to point out that camp that I saw to at least Paretta and Malagas. Everyone if I can, but just kind of discreetly, like, hey, kind of point the head.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, if you were gonna respond to them, feel free.
I'll say I don't introduce myself. I'm too important for that now.
Do you want to gesture to like one of your like Jarek to introduce you?
Someone.
to
Yeah.
open for
Okay.
you.
You nod at Jarek and he steps forward and says like, Kiliani, the Water Lord, Crusher of the Air Tribe, Champion of Balak, Slayer of Imix's let me think about it before he says it. Slayer of Imix's avatar in long past is here to commune with the cult of the Eye. And the underlings kind of part ways and they come back and they said, leave your mobile encampment here. We will escort you to his grand worship. And Jarek kind of looks back and should I give them the okay?
Yes.
Start making my way. Yeah.
But
Really?
Okay, well,
Really?
That wasn't a mute button.
No.
As Jeremy
gonna
sneezes in
tell.
the fifth dimension, and the rest of you make your way down the gangplank, you can tell that you're kind of getting stares from the various cult members, and you're being kind of like led toward the central sort of encampment area.
before they
before we leave the Siegebreaker, I want to instruct the Dune Vipers that I brought with me to have all their archers ready on the top deck, and for the Skull Crushers to have the catapult ready.
They nod.
I'd like to kind of whisper to Malagaz and Snafu, like, should we maybe sneak off up there and see if we can quietly take care of that, or should we stay here and help with the frontal what I'm going to be assuming is assault?
I don't think we could quietly take out the Earth Tribe.
That
Well, not
when
with
they're
that
so close
attitude.
next door.
well, is that just a small encampment that Stanfu saw, or?
As you kind of crane over to look through one of the archer slots, like the murder holes there,
Yeah.
you can see it's a large tent. It could easily store like 20 people, surrounded by like maybe 6 smaller ones. You can tell that they most likely have moved the majority of their cult here. So there's no telling how many people are kind of intermingled among the sort of tent city that you're in right now, but easily, like, that tent alone could hold like 20 plus people.
Okay, that's much larger than I was thinking. Okay. Scratch that, she doesn't suggest anything then.
You can also see that there are abandoned areas. Like, there is an encampment that you can tell that, like, there are some Wind Tribe, like, memorabilia, but, like, obviously, like, a totem that they had set up before for Yanxi Bin is kind of, like, not in ruins, but in disrepair off to, like, the far east side.
And
there's
just like a
area-
weather vane, those little
Yeah.
circular. Yeah.
It's just like a weather vane and a fucking like one of those like big orange socks. They, with the wind directions going, and there's obviously a charred, like sort of burnt off area that you can actually see a couple people at. You can see a few fire cultists there.
Okay, I mean, for now, I guess just stay tucked with the group. I'll conceal my face as you go with the mask for now, but
Okay. At this point, I will then move us to that new map.
yeah.
As you're sort of led through the middle of the camp to this sort of grand tent, if you guys want to start kind of in this area outside.
We'll be right back in just a second. Gonna go.
Okay, I'll set the scene up here.
Did you want us to place tokens yet, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't catch where it was zoomed in.
You might want to zoom out a little. It's
Yeah, I just zoomed out. That's why I was like, okay, where? I didn't see where you, if you said.
I had to kind of
kinda
cobble us together out of a couple maps. And Jesse, I'll say they're not going to allow like your whole entourage, but Jarek and a few bodyguards are with you.
Yeah, like Jarek and Faraka will probably do. Unless Faraka needs any skull crushers with her.
She'll leave the skull crushers there. That's fine. You gave them orders. She'll trust that they can at least follow basic orders.
Plus, I'll need her to signal them.
Where is a good Varaka? This is kind of a pretty Varaka. We'll use a pretty. We'll give her a little bit of a makeover.
Now we're talking.
Varaka's a half orc, but that's I don't have any half orcs right now, so she's got kind of a glow up going on right now. But as you guys kind of like make your way to this tent, a few cultists are kind of stepping in front of you, and they say, "The Grand Eye will see you soon. Your guards can wait outside, but the members of your entourage can enjoy food and water provided by the cult." And they kind of gesture around to some of the tables, and like there's some cooking crodlu and some drinks and everything like that. They kind of like out, the cult is being very open and friendly with one another. Obviously, there's a bit of animosity between the cults here, but seems to be like neutral ground.
They just refer to themselves as a cult.
Yeah.
I just kind of like wave my hands around. It's like, this isn't cult.
I mean, we would call ourselves a religion at some points, but I mean, this is we gotta kind of embrace what it is at some point.
Okay, well at least you're self-aware.
So I'll say they'll let in the main party, but Faraka and Jarek and all your other bodyguards get to stay out.
Okay.
Okay. As they part their ways here, they kind of gesture you inside the tent. As you walk inside, Jesse, you see
Am I going
that,
in alone?
yeah, who else is going in with him?
I didn't know if he needed to be like led in by somebody,
They
Yeah,
have kind of
like a
part of-
boxer,
Yeah.
You
I need to
enter
hold the
first.
curtain for you. Yeah.
You
Okay.
enter first.
So
I guess
as the
I'm
party
intrigued.
walks in whatever order they choose, taking tens of minutes deciding
Choose not to.
deciding where to go. It's like like the graduation music is playing and it's almost done. Like we're gonna have to flip the tape.
John, you need to get like the wrap it up music they have at the Oscars.
I agree. I do need the wrap it up music.
Yeah.
As you guys walk in, you know what? I'm just gonna move your tokens.
I'll just play it
and
in
I'm
double
just-
time
I'm just
like
gonna-
Mario when you got a minute left to finish the map.
I'm just gonna put you right here. There we go.
The sonic underwater noise.
God, that's the most anxiety-inducing music ever.
It is.
I will die on that hill.
What was that again?
Scientifically constructed to induce any kind of anxiety.
As your folks walk outside here, as you shuffle inside, you can notice that there's a few guards inside, a couple of casters. Seated before you is a man, kind of mid-40s. He's got sort of a noble's sort of build, very lean and athletic. Not as sun-scorched as a lot of the other people you see in Athos. As you sort of look to the right, however, Jesse, you immediately recognize, and so do you, Mike. I guess you scryed on him. Recognize.
The one-eyed boy wonder.
Yes. Nestor Vile.
Tosses a check at him, and be like, "You dropped this."
Wait,
And-
which eye did I take?
The left.
Alright, I'll give him a wink with my left eye.
You see him visibly shake with anger. You'd also notice that he's flanked by a couple of cult member casters here. So he's kind of acting very restrained, but you can tell that he is like, I want to kill these guys right now. But Calyx gestures out and says, "Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could finally join us and meet us face to face here. You must be Kiliani, the Water Lord, as they call him, yes?
Will they tell me?
Well, welcome to the gathering of the elements here. I trust that you've met a few of your colleagues out in the wilds, out in Athos.
You could say that.
Well, I heard you and the Wind Cult had a bit of a disagreement, but that's where it is out there. Here, we all worship the Eye, and we all are gazed upon by the gaze of equality and fairness. And as long as we obey the rules here and don't start any untoward fights or violence, we can all get along for the greater good. Don't you agree?
You say that, yeah, only I see predominantly the Earth cultists here.
Well, that would be because you murdered most of the air cultists. And, Vanifer has been kind of in a bit of a mood since most of her lieutenants were killed, and she was embarrassed by, almost drowning in the swamps outside of Marsh Deep Keep, so she's been keeping to herself. However, I noticed that we do have some Earth friends with us, and I know that they had something that they wanted to talk to me about, but I'm giving you the benefit of the first visit here. I know Marlos can be very, very impatient sometimes, but he'll just have to wait.
Oh, by all means, invite him.
Nestor, if you wouldn't mind, just send out one of the messengers. Tell Marlos he can come in with his prize that he says he has with us for us. Yes, and he kind of nods and says, "Of course, master." And he walks into the other room, eyeing you with his right eye before kind of stepping into this different spot. As he leaves, you see Callis kind of lean forward and it says, "So, I've been very, very curious. Band of adventurers such as yourselves, commanding such power. What's your story? Certainly not one of the most common ones here on Athos. Surprised you found your way across the waste with as little trouble as you did."
We have the blessing of Hydra.
Ah, yes, the water mistress. I heard she can be quite fickle with her favor.
She's been good to me so far.
That's reassuring. And what about the rest of you? Certainly a dragon of a noble house, a halfling hunter and his druid companion, and the commander of a mercenary squad have very little to do with water cultists, such as yourself. How did the rest of you come to be under the influence of this man here?
I think Snafu is actually purposely just staying quiet. Like he doesn't trust this guy. Like he doesn't need to know this.
Oh, come on. I'm not that scary, am I?
I was just leaving the floor for the less chatty people.
A tense minute goes by.
I'll
Oh,
just
snap.
interrupt and say, I'll speak for everybody and say we share mutual goals.
Mutual goals, yes. And, I heard that you come from Balak. It's far away. What goals does Balak have in this region? Being so far and so... well, let's say xenophobic as of late with the worshippers of the elements.
Well, there are those in Balak that wish to bring, to see stability brought back to this region.
I assume you're talking about the dwarf. I believe his name is... oh, what was his name again? Something sort of odious and... oh, Tigo, yes. I'm assuming you were talking about our friend Tigo.
His name may have come across my desk.
Well, you can tell Tigo that once the eye is open, the shipments should be starting to flow with rapid pace. I mean, once the eye has its gaze fixed upon those who can't see its glory yet, it'll be all so clear.
I don't know. I think your eye has had enough time to open, and your promises are falling short. Me, in just a few days with my friends here, have done more to bring stability to this region and peace than all of your efforts thus far.
Now, Kiliani, those sound like words of anger. I'm trying to be a friend here. I'm trying to be an ally.
And what exactly do you bring that I could find useful?
I didn't know the truth was angering.
Oh.
I've brought 2 of the cults to heal, have freedom up and running again and safe, and put Venether in her little tiff, as you put it.
Well, but you don't bring me the key to the temple. The thing I need the most.
And why would I give it to you?
Well, it's because I am blessed by the eye's powers. I am the only one who can enter the temple unmolested, let's say, by the stone guardians once I have the key. I have been shown the way to the inner sanctums. I have been shown the tests that must be completed by those who would claim to be champions of the elements. I have been given a vision. I have been given power.
Malagaz just sighs and says, I've been shown these things as well, and it didn't take a benevolent god that doesn't belong to any elements to show me the way. I'm like, I've seen this key you're looking for, and if awakening an ancient elemental evil is what's going to restore peace to this planet, then I don't think we have any alliance to speak of.
Giuliani starts to sweat a little.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your help certainly is talkative. No matter. As you sort of are kind of coming to a tense, not like confrontation, you can see that the tent is once again parting, and walking in with one of his attendants, which I have to put on the board. If you'll excuse me a moment. Not that big,
Holy
please.
shit.
There we go.
That makes Rocknar look like a bitch.
We'll have you guys kind of just shuffle to the one side
Makes him
here
look like-
as he steps in.
Ebelnar.
Pebbledar. Gravelnar.
Stonenar.
Onar. Ragnar and
I'm not
Earth Day.
just a rock. I'm
And walking
gold.
back out, Nestor also appears. And in walks a very large man. He's presented first. There's a man with like solid stone armor. It looks as though like a boulder has been molded around his torso to make like a sort of plate mail out of natural stone. Same with his helmet. His helmet is like a smooth stone, kind of carved into a one-piece like helmet with a visor. He carries a large sort of flint scimitar, or falchion, like a large like two-handed sword. Made out of like stone and bone. He leads a man with sort of brown scaly skin, covered in sort of mud and dirt, and on his shoulders he has like these two bullet skin or bullet hide like bracer or pauldrons, and on his head is a helmet fashioned out of a like sort of bullet skin as well, but you can tell he's got something writhing underneath the back of his head, like his helmet, like his hair is almost moving. And he says, "Oh yes, Marlos, please come inside. Make yourself comfortable. I was just discussing things with our friend Giuliani here." Marlos steps up, and behind him is a very familiar figure, Micah, beaten, bloodied, bruised, and missing one hand is Radgast.
All the oil in the world. That's what it does.
Marlos speaks up and says, "Well, greetings, one and all. I am glad to finally make your acquaintance, Waterlord," he says without making eye contact. You can tell that his visor is almost so thin that you cannot see his eyes beneath it. It's just two narrow slits of allowing some vision here. He gestures to his guard, which shoves Radgast forward. And as he looks around the room, Radgast looks at you, Micah, and then he's gonna try to look away. He rolls a nat 5 on a bluff check, and you see Nestor sees a flash of recognition on his face before he just looks at the ground. He says, "This one was collected in a recent raid upon the City of Freedom. The fools thought we were there to cause destruction, but my agents were burrowing far beneath to find this secretive little rat. And he gestures at Radgast. There have been rumors of a treasure collector in the City of Freedom. Then I decided to look into it. And our agent, and he kind of gestures at Nestor, had confirmed that the Dragon Man and his cohorts had been seeing this man recently. And so we figured he might have some questions that may be worth answering. And you see Radgast kind of like, I don't have any answers for any of you. I tell you, I've never met this man before in my life. And he kind of looks at him and, well, Dragon Man, have you met this man before?
John, how long has this conversation been going?
It's about as long as we've been having it here in real life. 5 minutes.
Okay, because during this time, I want to use my know your enemy, and I observe somebody for at least a minute. Which one was the one talking for the most part? Was it the guy in the middle there?
Alex, yes.
At least what is it? Is current hit points and total class levels?
Total class levels is hard for a creature.
It's a creature. Okay,
I would say, well, just for an NPC in general, because I'd have to make a player character.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm just sizing things up in case things get hot real fast. I want to just kind of like, okay, what each minute I'm kind of studying everybody in the room, like who's going to be the soft targets, the quick ones to take out, and so on and so forth.
Well, and then again, all you do is tell him if it's equal, superior, or inferior to the things he's
That
asking.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
You don't tell him the exact number.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
No, I'm fine. Let's see.
To put it more, like I said, in Snafu's angle, he's just sizing everybody up, looking to see who the softer targets are, and just kind of, in case it's needed, important information.
So far at this level, I see he's a little bit over yours. And I'd say so far as hit points, I'd say equal-ish.
Equal. I have 136. Is that okay?
And then I'd say superior, but
Okay.
I'll say that you could tell he's not like a hulking figure of Jeremy's constitution, but he's not like a slouch either.
Right. Like I said, I'm just trying to size everybody up in case that information is very important.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say, that I have met him before, but clearly you can tell how distressed this man is, hanging out in his cave alone, seeking treasures. He's a little disheveled. I don't expect him to remember me. And I'll go for persuasion with that.
Go ahead and give me a roll.
15.
Calixor looks around and says, well, can't be expected to remember everyone that crosses his path, can he?
And I'll say, last time I saw him, he seemed to have both hands. I'm like, I don't know if this is how you treat your guests or not, but...
This is how I treat liars. Should I show you how I treat traitors?
I have no allegiance to you, so I don't know if that's a threat or not.
Well, obviously this man is a traitor to all of the people of the valley. He's holding back information that could bring forth the eye. Bring forth glory to everyone here in this valley.
Well, he's a shopkeeper. Did you offer him coin for anything? Or did you just chop off his hand and tell him you're coming with me?
And what
Oh,
secrets
I offered
does
him-
he possess that the eye hasn't shown you yet?
Well, this is true. But even if someone doesn't know that they're in possession of something of great value, does not mean that they recognize it.
Which guy is this talking again, John?
This is Marlos, this guy to the right here wearing the
He's
ornate
the-
helmet.
The Earth guy, right?
The Earth Cult leader, yes. You can tell he's as at his side, kind of underneath his robe, he has a large iron pick. The older wizard, kind of, or the older like relic collector says this. I told you again. I know not which relic he spoke of. I sold him many. And he says, "Oh, so you reversed your story then? You told me that you had never sold anything to a dragon man. Now you claim you don't remember what you sold him. Well then, maybe I'll just ask him. Maybe you're of no longer any use to me." And you see the he looks at Callus and he says, "Would you like to see the blessing that Ogramok has blessed me with?" And Callus sort of nods and says, "Yes, I think we'd all like to see what sort of gifts the elements have offered you." And as he removes his helmet, he has his eyes closed, but you can see that Marlos is covered in scales. His hair is a writhing pit of vipers. He's got fanged teeth, and when he opens his eyes, all of you instinctively kind of shy away as a sort of like venomous flash goes off, and you can see he has these reddish orange eyes like two snakes that unfortunately Radgast is not able to avoid because he's being held in place and his eyes are being opened, and he makes eye contact with Marlos, and he says, "Look deeply into the blessing Ogramok has given me. I can create stone from the flesh of man. I give you your perfect form."
Is
And he
is he a humanoid, John, or is he a monster?
He is he'd be a monster at this point.
I'm gonna use Hold Monster on him.
Okay. Go ahead, and he's gonna make that save. And he's gonna burn a legendary resistance. As he sort of hisses at you and pulls his helmet back down. Give me this is a tense situation. Everybody give me initiative.
Give me the bell. Give me the bell. 8.
Give me the bell.
Ring the bell, Apollo.
Queen.
Dang, dang.
Ding, ding.
I legitimately don't know why it's going to voice modulator like that, because I'm not pushing the hotkey for it.
I'm digging it.
It's random. It's fun. I like it.
It's just funnier to me because I know you don't intentionally mean to do it. Yes.
Yes.
That's the zombie one.
It sounds like you're starting to vomit, but we're holding it back.
Let someone drop their mic.
I just thought the dam of his asshole opened and just diarrhea was floating just everywhere.
All right. I'm gonna need initiatives from Minor first.
16.
Micah,
15.
Jared,
4. I actually rolled for that one.
Jeremy,
20.
20, Jesse,
8.
8. All right. Now for my NPCs.
Now this is a tent we're standing in, right?
Correct.
Here we go.
If you guys
I
want,
wasn't even thinking about it.
Get the rim shot lined up, Jared.
That's a real tense situation. I'm surprised it didn't come sooner.
Jared, take 2 points.
He's a
damage.
gentleman. He waits.
All right. All right. Actually, first to act in this is Marlos. He is going to back up here. He's also going to grapple with an attack Radgast and hold him back here. You see him, he grabs Radgast around the neck. He's got kind of in like a one-armed chokehold, and he grabs the pick in his other hand, and he's kind of holding the iron like tip of the pick to the like the temple of the old man, kind of shouting like back up. And that's his turn. That's going to be Jeremy next.
So that guy is a wind cultist, right? Or not wind cultist, earth cultist. And is this guy with him?
Yes.
And then
Those
the
are
other
stone-covered guys.
Okay, and then the other 4 to his left are those are people of this temple thing, right?
The Eye Cult, yes.
Okay, so they're kind of separate factions, right? Then.
Yes.
All right, here's my train of thought. I'm about
Choo-choo?
to employ the Jonathan Joestar. I get him mixed up. Second Joestar,
Joseph.
Joseph. His tactic, and I'm going to run. But what I want to do, I want to run. Listen.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Mike is objecting already. He has
I'm not.
the whole plan.
I'm not. I'm just baffled. Is all.
My attempt. What I want to do is I want to pull the tent down
Okay.
to hopefully like entrap these guys. Or if there's like a stake I can swing at and take out, and like the whole thing would come tumbling
Okay.
down.
So give me a quick perception test.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
More
You
important
brought me
question: where are we
along, That's how
going?
you got
An old
here.
man was gonna get turned into a lawn statue, and shit happened.
Why do we care about this old man?
That's a 22, John.
The main supports of this tent are located at the green rings I'm going to put here.
He's gonna pull a Troy and Abed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. so-
They come up to like sort of like a cross beam at the top, like right above the fireplace. There's a little vent, like on the top, so that the smoke can escape.
Just throw your hammer like a boomerang. Trust me, it'll work.
Let's get out of our calm negotiation music and get to some fight music. There we go.
What happened to your music thing that was in the channel anyway?
I just turned it off because it was Jared's got his own music.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just happened to look. Oh, hey, where'd that go?
Actually mixing it up right now. Funny that you mentioned it.
All right, Rocknar, what you doing?
I'm gonna charge forward at the northwest pole, and I'm gonna like just tackle it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me move your piece and go ahead and give me an attack roll.
That guard over there is gonna be sweating bullets for a second.
Sweating bullets. Oh! Get it? No?
There'll be a
Damn.
20
I get it.
roll.
I didn't think it was a bullet.
It's an earth pun.
Oh. Huh.
All right, what was an attack roll, Jeremy?
21.
21. You hit solidly. Go ahead and roll me. Let's go D6 plus strength modifier.
What if I used a tripping attack on the stake? No.
Wrong button.
5 plus
No,
what's your strength mod?
hold on.
I'm holding on.
Hold.
There we go. All right, with that, this snaps. One of the supports of the tent goes down. It is sort of sagging in this corner. Then I'll say there's obscured area in this side of the tent.
Is that a fire right there, kind of in front of me?
That is a fire. That is an active fire. Yes. Next is going to be the Earth Cultist. He is going to move forward, and he's going to strike at you, Micah, because you hit his mans.
I didn't though. You know, John, this cult is all full of fucking hypocrisy.
I mean, I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that they're here and they're doing stuff.
They're here and they're doing stuff.
All right, so let's. He's gonna attack with his big stone sword. That's gonna be an 18 to hit.
I will use shield. Well, yeah, because 18 matches, so that would technically hit, right?
Yep. As your shield pops up, his stone sword just kind of bounces off the blue magical shield that you prop up in front of you. After him, it is then going to be the cult thugs. Ladies and gentlemen, the cult thugs. They are going to try to move in to get some order in the situation. They're going to stand. This guy's going to stand here, and actually, he's going to try to pull Calyx back. He does not. So he's just kind of standing here, and he's going to just try to pull Calyx out of this bad situation, but he's not able to. The others are just they're going to get next turn. The kerfuffle in the tent is going to kind of come to light here, and a lot of the other people are going to act. We then go to Minor.
Is there a flap on the tent?
Yeah, the door to the south is the main flap.
Is that being held open, or is it still?
It was being held open. Now it is shut.
Okay.
Who's next after Minor, John?
Micah. A man named Micah Trippett is next.
Micah.
My God. There's our chicken.
Every fucking day at work, man. Every fucking day. It's Micah!
I feel like you're bringing up some scars, guys. Let's not.
Could be worse. You could just be called Minor. Oh shit.
Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna bonus action disengage to step back.
Okay.
And the one that took a swing at Malagaz, I'm gonna shoot with an arrow.
Okay.
Let's try a sharpshooter shot here. 22 to hit.
That's a hit.
Alright, I'm gonna throw on a goading attack here. It's gonna be a wisdom save as well.
He does not make it.
Okay, so any attack he makes against anyone else but me on his next turn, until the end of my next turn, is disadvantage.
Okay. So you step back, you fire an arrow right across his head, his helmet. It pings off. Did you roll? You did how much damage?
Hang on, I was getting to that too. So it'll be 25 altogether. I'll just stick with that 4 that rolled for that one. So 25 altogether.
Okay.
And then I will. Oof. I want to get further. Well. There's no easy way to hold that. There's not like a rope or something that holds that flap open. Somebody just has to hold it, right?
You can. There is one that's just not tied open.
I'll just go ahead and step outside a little ways.
Okay.
Just to pull his aggro if he decides to come after me. So.
Okay. All right. We then go to Micah. Go ahead and give me a d20 roll, please.
Rolling. Just straight?
Yep.
17.
All right, you go first.
Oh, gotcha. I was going with somebody.
Oh,
Yep.
John, throw 10 more on with a sneak attack damage. Sorry.
Okay.
Which guy did you do that to, Minor?
The
One
dude that
to
just
forget
attacked
you.
you.
Okay. The nobody. I just needed to know. John, what are the rules for if you grapple someone who's grappling someone else? It's just kind of like a three-way grapple, right?
The human centipede.
Right.
I would say, if you're grappling somebody that is grappling someone else,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give that person that they're grappling a chance to escape.
Okay. What if you shoved the person holding them?
Same. I would give them a chance to escape.
Okay. I have a plan here.
I have a
And it's
cunning
going
plan.
to move here so that it's more an easier line of sight. I'm going to use a science to use telekinesis.
Giggity.
Kyle.
Okay.
And I'm going to shove the guy holding Radagast. Attempt to shove him through this pillar here.
Okay.
And hopefully break Radagast free.
Okay.
So he makes a strength saving throw against my power save DC.
Okay. That's a natural 4.
Yup. He's shoved. How much here? 5 times my con mod. So he's shoved 25 feet.
Jesus. All right. Hold on.
My con mod's 5, so
Well,
he is
Radagast
fucking out of here.
just drops to his knees, and this dude it just flies off in the corner, and you do not see where he goes.
Does
Just
he
like-
hit the pillar?
He hits. Yeah, he'll hit that pillar. So this
Okay.
whole half of the tent is kind of being drooped on, like you know what I'm talking about. Like the top is
Mhm.
sort of down, and you can now smell smoke.
I do want to get with the rest of my movement. I don't know if that causes this guy to wait. Well, I guess he has disadvantage since if he
He
chooses
does.
to attack me, right? Okay,
Which he
that's
will,
fine.
but he'll have disadvantage.
Okay, that's fine. I just kind of want
that
to
is a
pull
miss.
him. Okay, I just kind of want to pull him out from the debris.
Okay, I'll say he moves like on the other side of you. And he says, "Oh, thank you so much."
I'll say, well, I couldn't have been. I didn't know you were involved this much in it, and that's on me. So I'm like, if it's within my power, I'll see that no further harm comes to you.
With that, it is now.
I'm really happy that played out like that. Like, son of a bitch, get the fuck out of here! Just boom.
Calyx steps forward and says, "Enough!" And he's going to cast Hold Person on you, Micah. Go ahead and give me a saving throw.
Okay, is that wisdom?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see, I think I have something for that. Oh, I'll actually counterspell it.
Okay.
Nice.
I was just about to ask if I could use my reaction to counterspell it.
He points at you, and then the spell fizzles, and he looks really pissed. But that's all he can do right now. That was his turn and his move. Actually, he does have a bit of movement left. That was double move out. He's gonna step here to the door as he starts to move towards the door. We then go to the cult Alkalites. This one is essentially blinded right now. So he's gonna move back further. This one feels next to you, Jeremy. He kind of has a bit of it's like a bit of blindness in here. He's gonna try to hit you with his big mace. That's a 2. So he swings, like misses completely, and you hear the sound of him getting wrapped up into the fabric of the tent and kind of like falling over. He's been knocked prone. This one is going to step inside here, see what's going on, and then Pyretta, he's going to attack you with a big mace. That's going to be a 20 to hit.
Yep.
It's going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Alright, and that is their turn. We then go to Jesse. You also hear, because it is your turn, Jesse, your followers are acting. Jarek kind of runs up to the flap and kind of is looking and see what's happening, and they kind of collides with Calyx. They don't get knocked over, but they are kind of like right next to each other. And then Varaka is going to kind of do the same. She's going to go behind Jarek.
I'll move here.
Kind of like to think that Calyx just like running into like a wall of rubber just against Jarek's washerboard abs.
It's like running into the rock. Like,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll say to Calyx, I'll remind him, I thought this was a peaceful settlement.
That's what I meant. The fucking hypocrisy. Let's turn a man to stone.
Or can your eye not guarantee that either? And
I guess he's not really in a place to respond right now. He just kind of turns and snarls and says, I was a fool to trust you.
does he say that to me, or does he say that to his... Okay. It's like, your Earth Boys are the ones that caused this. And I'll summon Drowned with my bonus action.
Okay.
Jesse, is there any like notable people still on the Siegebreaker?
That I know by name personally, no. Just whoever, what's her name? Whoever Captain Linnaeus put in charge as the ranking officer of the Dune Vipers that came with us, and whoever Varaka has on the Siegebreaker.
Okay.
I forget her second in command, that like big Goliath guy.
Yeah, the Trek looking
Oh, yeah. He's on there, right?
guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to catapult a rock under the tent.
I can't
that-
tell you what I'm going to do, Minor. I just need to know for my next turn.
Okay. What are you doing right now, Jesse?
Okay, I'm going to attack him, but first I'll say, there will be no peace between us. Only your unconditional surrender of the cult and the Earth Tribe.
I'm gonna soliloquy.
Yeah.
And I'll swing at his back twice with Drown.
Okay.
And I'm assuming I have advantage
flanking.
Yes.
because of Jarek. Okay.
Soliloquy.
I got soliloquy.
Okay, so 23 on the first hit.
Okay, that is a hit.
Okay. And a nat 20 on the second hit.
All right, good job. Go and roll damage.
And because I got my once a month critical, I am doubling the die roll. Well, I'm confirming that's how the rule works.
We're doubling the roll of the
Yeah.
dice, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that one first.
I don't like the thing where you're like, oh, you just double the result of the one. No. Or roll double the dice. I like doubling the result.
Rolling once, doubling the number.
Yeah. Easier. Because you can still massively get screwed that other way.
Okay, so for the critical roll, he takes 33.
Okay.
And for the normal, he takes another 33. No. 34.
34. Okay. Okay, so 77? No, 67. 67, okay. Alright. As you slash across his shoulder with Drown for the first attack, he's kind of able to parry it, but then you kind of uppercut with the other end with the spiked end of the spear, and you just cut right into his chin, and you leave this super deep gash. Just like, and he holds his face, like blood immediately like seeping through his fingertips, or through his fingers.
And if it isn't obvious to Jerk now, and Baraka, I'm going to say kill them all.
Jared, it is your turn.
Okay. So. Boom.
Cha.
Fire spirit. Yay!
The crowd goes wild.
I was like, oh, well, they'll have a tense discussion. Nope.
This is the discussion.
I mean, you threaten a man in my good character's face, John.
To be fair,
As Padme calls them, aggressive negotiations.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
If Micah didn't take action, Peretta was going to, so it's good that we got things off to a good start here. Alright, make a dex saving throw against 17.
Who?
Everybody within
Who's
10
making a
foot
saving
of that, of the fire spirit. So 3, 1, 1, NPC, unnamed.
Nestor?
Anybody within a 10-foot range of my wildfire spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much.
Nestor's passing. Cult Wizard 3 failed. Cult Thug 1 failed. Cult Wizard 1 passed.
16
So-
irresistible damage to those who did not pass, nothing to those who passed.
Okay. Simply irresistible.
And then Fire Spirit's going to move, realizing he might proc an opportunity of attack from what's the cyan ringed character above 1 there?
Nestor.
Nestor, okay. Nestor wants to make an AO attack and
Against the spirit?
yes, because I'm leaving this area.
Yeah, he will.
Okay.
Yeah, he will. It's gonna be a 25 to hit.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's gonna be 11 slashing. And 11 psychic.
Alright. And then I'm going to move, realizing I might proc 1 from 2. Oops. Huh?
Okay.
It's an
Yeah, he'll do 1. That's a miss.
Okay. And I'm going to have the Fire Spirit teleport anybody willing 15 foot in this direction. Old man,
Wizard's
Micah,
Mill.
Jesse.
Radgast is willing.
Okay. So move
Which
Radagast
direction?
so far over this way. Jesse, you can move.
I'm sorry, folks. I have to clarify. Radagast is a J.R.R. Tolkien character. Okay. Radgast,
Radgast.
however, is a John Edgington original. He's a ghast who is very rad.
Rad.
John, we're all aghast.
Okay,
You
so
should be.
Jesse and Micah, if you want to shift 15 foot closer, actually, I'm going to reverse toward the fire spirit there. So basically, he was here. Move 15 foot closer toward it if you wish.
Mm. I think I'm fine here. I'm right at the entrance if I need to get out.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know about Micah.
All right, Micah. I'm going to tell you right now. Nestor goes next.
Mike
Oh,
was
Micah's BRB.
Oh. Okay. We'll hold on for a
I
second.
am here now, though.
Okay.
What's up?
Would you like to teleport with Jared with the fire spirit outside of the tent?
You can go 15 foot, but you got to end somewhere adjacent.
Oh, he'll go right there.
Okay,
You
so
can
with it,
you can occupy friendly space, I assume. Oh, but
okay. I guess yeah, I'll go here.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nestor just gets out of the collapsing tent. You can see is like starting to catch on fire.
I was gonna say that teleport and summoning it would light anything on fire.
And he sees you, Jesse, and he says, "I have been waiting for so long for this." And then he starts to slash at you with his sword, and you can tell that he has a full suite of psionics, like up and out. His first slash is going to be a 21.
Right.
His next slash is going to be even higher. And then the third slash is going to be a natural 1. So his first 2 attacks. He's going to two-hand the sword. So you see, he takes a steel sword in both hands, and you immediately can remember that this sword is like a sort of like a Balak, like guard captain. Like this is a Balakian sword that he is wielding. It's gonna deal 10 points of slashing damage for the first attack and 5 points of psychic damage, as his pure malice pours into the wound. You can tell that he's augmenting his physical damage with like a psychic sort of rage power.
Okay.
All right, next attack is going to be 11 points of slashing damage and 9 points of psychic damage, as he just completely and he just swing, but his rage gets the better of him. In his third attack, he completely overextends and like just hits the ground hard. Like his sword hits the ground hard. He doesn't drop it, but he is. I will say you have advantage on attacks against him until his next turn.
Alright, I will use my reaction to do a Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
He makes a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god. For the folks at home, I just rolled 2 nat 20s on that saving throw. So no,
It was destined
he is not fully rebuked.
Well, he takes half damage.
He takes half damage.
He takes 7 fire damage.
7 fire.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nestor sort of just like laughs, just like, I have been waiting for this for so long, and just like even the burning is worth it to him, like just to get this close. All right, this is the end of his turn. We go back to the top of the order. We then go to Marlos. He does an action you cannot see because he is way off in no man's land. And he is going to... What did I just do? Actually, you do see him out here. You see him stumble out from like pile of wreckage of like some barrels, and he's like kind of groggily walking toward these wizards. But his mask is completely off, and he's like just looking at the ground. That's gonna be his turn for right now. Jeremy.
I stand back up if I'm not already.
No, you were not. Yeah, you were prone. You just shoulder checked it. So
The little gray guy here, is that
That's one eye.
one eye? I want to tackle him and then like push him into the fabric of the tent on the right.
okay. As you kind of look around, that orange box I just drew is the tent on fire. So if you cross that orange box, you're gonna take fire damage.
It is what it is.
You guys still hear me?
Actually, you know, I probably could just like go south and then east and this one. Yeah, I'll get to him in 6
Okay.
without going through the fire.
All right, you're gonna have an advantage on this attack because he's way overextended.
I'll take the 19 on that.
That sounds like a plan. And you're tackling him.
Yeah, kind of like a flying tackle to like just knock him down.
Knock him prone. Okay, I'll say that. You can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and roll damage with whatever weapon you're using to kind of do this flying tackle with.
13.
13. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So you tackle him to the ground, and he kind of looks up and says, "Oh yes, you, his bumbling buffoon of a follower." After your turn, anything else in your turn?
So with my knowledge of being able to grapple and still do extra attacks, do I have more attacks I can do?
Do you have multi-attack, or like how
Yeah.
many attacks do you have per round?
I have my regular attack and 2 multi-attacks.
So you get 3 attacks per round.
All right, so that
was one of them.
okay. Do I still have advantage?
Yeah.
He's prone now, so technically, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't grapple him; you just knocked him prone.
A 27 and a 26.
Yes, God, those both hit.
He's going in and out of the ether.
That's why he can't see me. I'm phasing in and out of existence.
Glitching.
Wow. 15 damage.
15 damage. Okay. All right, you bring your hammer down again and again, and he just kind of like, he doesn't stop laughing with every hit. You knock the air out of him a couple times, but he just wheezes this psychotic laughter. After your turn, it is then going to be the Earth Cultist's turn. He is going to grapple you with an attack, possibly. It's behind you.
He has disadvantage because I goading attacked him.
Then he's got a net 1. As he dives at you, Jeremy, go ahead and give me a high or low.
We'll go low because he's a low life.
Oh, okay. As he dives, he doesn't dive into the fire. He just dives into the tent that is currently down. So he's gonna fall flat. Boop. And he's prone. That's the only Earth cultist on the board. The cult thugs. This dude's gonna work his way out, and he's going to attack you with his club, the great club. And that's 2 nat 1s. Great, cool. All right, his club falls into the fucking flames, and he's like, you know what? I quit, and he's gonna just run to this end of the tent because that sucked. And these guys are gonna move kind of around here to form like a guard perimeter, so you don't get past them. They're going halt. Leo,
hammers
down. All right. Stop! You violated the law.
No, Jesse comes out here, points at Calix. That man stole my sweet roll.
Come out with your hands up and lay your weapons down.
Okay, Copnar.
Popnar. But they have all readied attacks. They have javelins. They have at the ready. And it's the cult folks' turn. It is Miner's turn.
I'll just come out and be like, what where's my wallet? Point at Alex, but he took my wallet.
Oh, so much has changed since my turn. I was like, oh, I got this idea. Oh, I got this idea now. And now things have changed again.
Move forward a little bit too.
Welcome to combat in this group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. You gotta be able to adapt.
Whew, yeah, we're getting surrounded. What about this tent here, John?
That's.
What about it?
Yeah, what about it?
Is that flap open or no?
The flap's open.
And this one over here looks like a smaller tent, right?
Yep.
Is that open too or no?
I mean, it's not like there's a padlock on it. So yeah, you could open it.
Because my original thought was gonna be like, well, hey, there's a fire in here. I could see shadows. I could shoot at shadows that I would know that are bad guys. But so much is jostled around, and I don't know, even getting a good shot. These two would be disadvantaged because they're prone. Studying the map here. Is this some sort of table, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah, it's a long table with like drinks and food and stuff set out on it.
These are kegs or barrels of some sort?
Although they're smashed because that's where the earth guy fell into.
Okay, so is that gonna be like difficult terrain or something?
Yeah. What you gonna do, man?
I'm gonna bonus action dash over to here.
Okay.
And what's with these two? This is the one that got knocked through.
That is the Earth Cult leader, he's kind of he's kind of gathering himself up a bit. Looks like he's not gonna engage in this fight. He's kind of making his way back towards his camp,
Like
or at least out of the fight.
Oh, there's so many other guards though. Are these the like 5 and this 2? They're all part of the cults here, the temple
Yes.
cults. Okay, they're not part of the Earth cult or the Earth cult.
The only Earth cultist is in the tent.
Okay. Can I? You know what? You said these are all smashed up, but is there still space to hide, perhaps?
Sure. Yeah, there's enough wreckage there to kind of hide.
Because that was 8 spaces. I could finish my dash here and then actually use my full action to stealth or hide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll do that just to kind of see how things are going with the numbers out here. So.
Okay. You just dive into the wreckage there, kind of roll around, able to find yourself in a hiding space. After Snafu's turn.
And that's a 31 on a stealth.
Okay.
You are the barrel.
Micah and then Calyx.
So I am going to send a message to the Shrek guy.
Okay.
On board, and I'm going to say this is Malagaz with Kiliani's group. Calyx and his men have chosen violence. So open up fire, ready the archers, move in.
Okay. You
I'm
get
going to-
a yes. Deep guttural confirmation.
And then as a bonus action, I am going to use Draconic Transformation.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn myself into my Dragon Boy self. And when I do that, I get a free breath weapon attack. So
Yep.
I'm going to move here. Basically spread it at the boys this way.
Okay.
It's a 60-foot cone
What's DC?
of cold damage. It is dexterity saving throw. It's going to be 18.
Okay. These dudes on the end make it 2 and 5, but the rest fail.
Okay. So they just take half if they passed.
Okay.
So is the Shrek guy in charge of the catapult?
He's in charge of the whole thing, the Siegebreaker.
So he'd be launching Shrekking balls, huh?
Get out.
Stretch from Wrecking Ball. Eh.
I would just say it was a reach, you know. 23 force damage.
23 force damage. Okay.
And some fun splat.
Do they take half damage if they pass?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
Now I have blind sight as well. And I have wings.
Okay.
So I'd like to see a motherfucker run at me.
As you breathe this cone of cold on them, you can tell that these are a little bit squishier folks than usual. Calyx is kind of surrounded himself by a lot of people, but they're not very strong people. As you sort of breathe this breath weapon on them, they're, almost like hands are frozen solid, like legs are frozen to the ground. But these 2 and 5 are able to kind of evade the greater part of that weapon. Calyx, however, noticing he's in a rough situation right now, is going to disengage. And he's going to try to move past.
A lot of.
Yeah. Oh, he did make it. Okay. He tries to, or Jarek tries to bear hug Calyx, but Calyx is able to duck underneath, and he's just gonna go this way for the rest of his movement here. And he's gonna start shouting, "Kill them! Kill the non-believers! They are enemies of the Eye!" And he's going to cast a spell upon himself, and then it's his turn. End of Calyx's turn. We then go to round 7, Cult Wizards. Cult Wizard 3 is going to stand and double move just to the edge of the chaos here. This Cult Wizard is just going to crawl out from the other side of the tent. And this one is going to wait. He's going to assist the Earth Cult's leader, Marlos, on his turn. 4 is going to step up, however. And this Cult Wizard is going to cast... let's see... he's going to cast Sacred Flame at you, Micah. Go ahead and give me a Wisdom saving throw. Or Dex save, excuse me. Dex save.
21.
You are able to slip aside. This strange ray of light, like red fiery light, beams out of the hand of the cultist, and kind of sears the ground underneath your feet, but you're able to kind of sidestep pretty easily. At the end of your turn... Oh, I have one more wizard. Hold up. I have 2 more wizards. 2, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, they're actually going to Sacred Flame, those 2. That's that one, but not that one. Baraka is struck and takes a strike. So 1 strike. This one's gonna step aside to you, Jesse. And he's going to cast he's gonna attempt to cast a spell at you. He's gonna swipe at you with his hand. What's your AC?
18.
Okay. He does touch you on the shoulder, and he's going to say, "Feel the gaze of the Eye."
John,
And
is
he's
that
going to
the-
do inflict wounds.
Is that number 2 or the guy with the snail on him?
Number 2.
Okay.
You're going to take 9 points of necrotic damage.
I have resistance to necrotic,
Nice.
which does what?
Half is it. So you're going to take 4 points.
Yeah.
Alright. And the fire spreads a little bit bigger. Alright. We then go to Jesse.
No, save that. I was gonna do something. I'm gonna save it.
Your followers are kind of going off on their own and doing their own things right now because they have orders.
Yeah.
So. Alright.
I'm actually going to Misty Step.
Oh, it's dead. Oh. Okay.
It has to be somewhere I can see.
Let's say this cone of vision just outside the tent is more or
Yeah.
less either inside or just outside the tent is where you can see.
I see here.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, so I'll do that. And then this number 4 here, I want to cast 3 Eldritch Blasts at him.
The cult thug.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, 26, 21, and 17.
All three of those hit.
Okay. He takes 31.
31. Okay, he's bloodied.
Oh, he's already bloodied. This one here, number 4.
Oh, that number 4, the caster.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
Yep.
Thought if I could move and pick one off, it'd be good.
I thought
Okay.
you meant the thug number 4 next to Jarek. That's what I thought.
Oh, no. No, I'm moving that way, but I thought I'd cover the back.
Okay. End of your turn. We then go to Jared.
Okay, so Fred is pretty pissed off at so he's going to cast.
Oh, he ain't fake, baby. He 100% real.
Okay, of a corrupted religion. So
Oh, he's real, baby.
Oh, he's real, baby.
I'm going to cast plant growth in a manner. So for this, that's where I want the 100-foot wall to start and go westward. You know, like in a square
Okay.
or whatever. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep. You
Okay.
do that.
Okay. And then I will command my fire spirit to teleport us if we fall under. So if we're
Okay.
attacked or.
As these grasping vines spring up and sprout up, they grasp at everyone's like ankles, and you see that the earth cultist kind of sees what's going on, and he kind of smiles as the brambles and like the stones and whatnot kind of go up around him. He just kind of looks and he starts to like fall into the earth.
Okay. Do are the roots of the plants extending and helping to slow that as well?
Not really.
Okay.
At the end of your turn, it is Nestor Vile. He screams because the object of his fixation for the past few years is gone. So he's going to stand. He's no longer prone. He realizes, however, he's next to Rocknar, the headhunter. He's going to pivot here. Actually, no, he can't get advantage with him because he is prone. He looks at you, Rocknar, and he says, "Consider yourself lucky." And you can see almost the eye that is tattooed on his forehead open, and you can just get hit with this wave of psychic energy. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Consider yourself lucky.
You gonna indomitable that?
13.
13. That is unfortunately not enough. He hits everyone else in the tent, but you take, as a flash of psychic power, just overpowers your ability to move and speak and act. You're gonna take 23 points of psychic damage, and you're gonna be stunned for 1 minute, but it's gonna be you're gonna saving throw at the end of your turn. So I'm gonna put the let's say frazzled brain of stun on you. And he's going to run 1, 2, 3, 4 on the rest of his movement. Okay. That's the end of his turn. We then pop back to Marlos, and as he just sort of laughs, says, "Clever trick, girl, but I am surrounded by Earth." And he just sinks in the ground. And that is his turn. Jeremy, give me a saving throw, please.
12.
Did you add your Constitution modifier to that?
17.
That's enough, so you're no longer stunned. It's like a flashbang went off for a second. You were just like totally disoriented, but now you're back.
Mop. Mop.
Mop. Mop. At the end of your turn, it is then going to be the Earth Cultist's turn. He's going to crawl out underneath that tent and stand. Then he's going to take a swing at you with this big stone sword and completely whiff. So he tries to do like a standing swing, but you just like shake it off, and then like as you kind of come to, you see the sword coming, easily just knock it out of the way. And in his turn, we're then going to go to the cult thugs. They are going to move in on you, Micah, but well, this dude, okay. So plant growth, does it just make it difficult terrain, Jared?
No, it says specifically for every 1 foot of movement they would move, they have to spend for 4, so it's almost.
Okay. Well, this guy can make it out at least.
Yeah, I imagine people close to the edge will, but others might be bogged down a little bit.
So these guys try, this is about as far as they're going to get. This guy does get out, however, and he's going to rush you, Micah. And he's going to dive out. That's only going to be a natural 6, though. He does like a diving attack to try to tackle you to the ground, but he just comes short. Knocks himself prone. And this guy is going to circle around here. And he's going to take a swing at you, Jesse, with his big club. And 15.
Miss.
Miss. You're able to just definitely block that with Drown. 8 is going to do the same thing. Oh, no, 8 was 8 was on the corner too. He could get out. But I'll say that's going to be his movement to stop right here. He's going to double move here. That'll be his whole turn. We then go to 6. That's Micah.
Are we past me, or?
Oh no, yeah, it should be minor then. Maybe.
Oh, sorry, minor. You were number 5. Yep.
Okay. Quick question.
Wait for that minor inconvenience.
Oh!
Did this guy over here do anything? This number 5?
No, he's currently being kind of eaten alive by giant vines right now.
Okay, I will.
Oh, has the catapult and stuff started acting yet, John?
At the end of your turn, it's gonna.
Okay, just making sure.
Is this a normal height table?
Yeah.
It's big for you.
Good night.
but-
It's actually a short people table.
Well, I was gonna say, would I
It's
be
a
able
coffee
to,
table, but to you, it's a normal size table.
would I be able to get underneath that fairly easily?
Oh yeah.
It's like a place for cover and shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's actually, I'm gonna shoot at this guy first here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make sure it hits somebody. Ooh, good thing I did. 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
Alright, give me a... I'm gonna do a pushing attack on him. So, strength save, DC 18.
He does not make it.
So I'm gonna be pushing him back 15 feet. I want to see if I can shove him into that tent and get all tangled up into that tent and everything.
Yeah, he collides and falls prone.
I need to take 15 piercing altogether.
He's still up, but he has just a bit of life left. You could say he's gravely injured.
This guy over here, how is he looking?
Which
Number
guy?
seven.
Number 5?
Number
seven.
seven.
He's bloodied.
I'll try and sharpshoot him. What the hell?
Okay.
Oh, there's a crit.
All right, nice.
Yeah, there's... Is that adding that up right?
That's number 7, right?
Yeah.
That's enough to finish him off.
21. Okay. What's that?
That's enough to finish him off. Yep.
Okay.
As he's trying to like rip the vines off his legs, you just headshot him because he's completely distracted.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to make sure it was adding it up right. But alright. And then we go... I'll switch to number 2 here that just attacked Malagos.
Okay.
For my last attack. Ooh, 16 to hit.
That is a hit. Yes.
Nice. And there's 22 piercing.
22. Okay.
Ooh, do I want to... Hang on, let me go check.
Oh, actually, he had advantage on that one. Can you roll me one more die? Because he's prone.
Oh, okay, he was, just... Oh, I didn't realize he was prone. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
They had the snail of prone.
he dove at me and missed.
Okay,
yeah, I still hit.
I'll just bonus action hide, actually.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your hide there.
28.
Now we're to Micah.
I am. Let me see here. Okay. I am going to with my wings here. Fly to... Oop, I'm on the wrong thing still. Fly to here. I'm gonna be about 20 feet up still. Just kind of outside of melee weapon range.
So I'm gonna put a 4 on there. You're 4 squares up.
Okay. And actually, can you change that to a 3? I'll be 15 feet up.
15. Okay.
And I'm going to use my bonus action for my Draconic transformation for my breath weapon.
Okay.
I'm going to use Dragon Fear instead. Which, yeah, instead of exhaling destructive energy, you can expend 1 use of the breath weapon to force each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be an 18 check they need to make.
All right, I'm gonna just do it in sort of like types here because I'm not gonna roll like a billion saving throws.
Yeah.
Nestor made it.
That should hit all the way out to Calyx. Out there.
Calyx did not make it. The guards failed. The wizards made it. Yeah. So the wizards made it, and Nestor made it, but everyone else failed.
Okay. If they can't see or hear me, they automatically pass. On failed, they become frightened of me for 1 minute. There is no save for it, except if they take damage, then they repeat the saving throw.
Okay.
That was my bonus action, and then. Did it get number 2 here?
Yeah, he's one of the ones that failed.
Okay. You said Nestor made it?
Nestor made it, yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to... for my action... Fuck it. I'm gonna use Hold Person on Calyx, or attempt to. Actually, no, because that's concentration. I don't want to drop everything. Instead, Nestor has been hit by Jeremy, right?
Nestor has been hit, yes.
Okay. Instead, I'm just going to use matter agitation. You get it.
Agitation.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. He does fail that matter agitation, so.
Okay, and he's not blooded yet, right?
No.
Okay. He's hopefully about to be. Let me see here. Just add in here. So, okay.
Jesus, Jeremy, how did you know his name was going to be Nestor?
I've seen Ed, Ed, and Eddie far too many times.
Far too many times.
I remember the first one's name was Penelope. I didn't remember the other ones. That's your sweet Pippi, I did.
Alright,
I'm just adding
That's
a
all
lot of
good.
D6s here.
it's all good.
6. Okay, he takes 44 force damage.
Alright.
And if he's wearing anything flammable, unless it's magical. If it's magical, it doesn't burn up, but
Then it's magical fire.
Nope. He is not wearing any magical armor. As you rain down the psychic attack on him, you do light his cloak on fire. So he's gonna doff that, and you see his body is just covered in scars and tattoos. Just bruises, cuts. They look almost ritualistic as well, like he's been ritualistically scarring himself on his arms and his chest. But yeah, he doffs that cloak and just kind of snarls at you as he looks up. Anything else?
No, he's decloaked.
no, that's all my actions there.
Calyx. Calyx is going to shout to Nestor. Everybody go ahead and give me a perception test to try to hear it over the din of battle. But Nestor nods.
16. Everything. Oh, the catapult and stuff has to go.
15.
As you shout, you hear him shout like, to flee, like to me, Nestor, and Nestor kind of like nods. Then Calyx is gonna flee. As Calyx flees, the launching of a catapult can be heard. Jeremy, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Friendly fire.
I got a nat 1. So what do you add to that, Jeremy? That 10. Unless it's 5, it's not enough.
Hitting the wrong
Oh,
button.
wrong button again. Sorry, 13.
13, yep. Unfortunately, you're going to take some of this damage too. Everyone in the tent is going to take 25 points of damage as it is hit with a giant boulder, the smoke being a perfect signal for something to target. And you see that the majority of the tent is just going to be flattened and just a smoldering pile of shit. So everything in the purple is considered difficult terrain. The fire is going to continue to spread. So Jeremy, you kind of in the middle of this massive bit of difficult terrain. This guy is dead. This guy's dead. These guys are bloodied. Okay. End of their turn, end of Calyx's turn, the cult wizards. This wizard's gonna sneak around here. And what's your stealth? What do you get for your stealth there?
It's
Snafu?
28.
28.
Yeah, it's 28, I think.
Okay. He does not see you, so he's gonna see Pyretta around the corner. And he's just gonna try. You see him try to start to sneak up to the side of the wreckage. He's gonna make his own stealth. Okay. End of his turn. We then go to the other wizards. Let's see. So you're up in the air. They're not afraid of you. They're gonna back up though. It's gonna get an AO from. And that's not gonna be a hit. Micah, go ahead and give me 2 dexterity saving throws, please.
Alright. Okay. 11 for the first one.
Okay.
And 10 for the second one.
10 for the second one. That one's gonna be a hit. Let's see. As you're hit with the strange light from the eye symbols of these dark acolytes, you're gonna take 8 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
And there is a piercing cry of just distress coming from the bag. Give me an Arcana test.
Arcana got a 17.
You can tell that whenever you are being affected by one of the powers of a servant of the eye, the skull is crying out for help because it can sense that its fellows are nearby.
Okay.
This guy's gonna crawl out of that area of the tent. This guy's gonna crawl out here. That's gonna be in his turn. We then go to Jesse.
What's Nestor doing?
Nestor, you can see, is getting ready to flee after Calyx.
Oh no, he ain't.
Oh no, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
no, 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 no.
Bad net.
I will hold position to give Jarek and Vraka advantage here, but I'm going to cast Hold Person on Nestor.
What's his goal number? He has to beat
18.
18. That's a wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah.
He got a 19.
What a dick.
All right. So you were he's just able to slip past your arcane attempts to grapple him. You can see that he's got this, he kind of smiles at you and he says, as much as I'd love to kill you now, Kilyani, I must follow my master's commands.
I'll get Varaka's attention and point at Nestor and be like, stop him.
Okay. And she will run up and attack. That's going to be a nat 20, and she's going to grapple. All right. Jarek is going to attack his target here next to you, number 4. That's going to be a hit. All right. He swings his big bone axe, bloodies this guy.
Big old bone.
And he shouts out to Varaka, "Be careful! He's got some kind of psychic power!" And after his turn, it is Jared's.
Okay. Huh? A fire spirit occupy the same space as Micah. I urge old man, forgetting his name at the moment. Yes, urge him forward. Perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to use Stone Shape to pull up the rocks and try to encase Nestor's ankles as I'm running by, since he's grappled Raka.
Okay. I give him a dex save on that. It's going to be a dex save of 21. So I'm going to say he is not grappled by that.
Okay. I will have the fire spirit teleport us, anybody willing, within 15 feet. Well, actually, I looked it up. I'm very sorry. It doesn't have to be. It's anybody that's adjacent to him when he teleports may teleport 15 foot in any direction. It doesn't have to wind up in the same adjacent space.
Okay.
So anybody adjacent to Micah able to teleport 15 foot in any direction.
That's only really going to be Micah because the wizard's not adjacent to Micah.
Well, Varrock,
No, because
I'm
he's 15 feet up in the air.
I'm sorry, it was 5 foot anyway. But the old man may, wherever you'd like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll stick next to you. All right. So Radgast, you get teleported alongside of him. You attempt to get your earthen shackles around the ankles of Nestor Vile, but he is just too slippery, too quick. It is the end of your turn. It is Nestor's turn. He's going to smile and say, "If I must, I will cut down your followers one by one." And he can't attack anybody else except for her. Give you a hit on 1, miss on 2, and a crit on 3. So her first saving throw DC is going to be a 19. She fails that. Her second saving throw is going to be a 9 plus 7, 17. She passes. So you see him plunge his sword through her abdomen. You see the tip of it poke out of her back. She sort of snarls and like punches him across the face. He pulls the sword out, swings again, slashes her across the thigh, Oh wait, no shit, that would have been doubled with crit. Unfortunately, as she goes to crack him across the face a second time, he just plunges his sword deep into her chest, and Varaka just slumps down, and she is no more. With that, Nestor is going to take his movement.
Brutality.
Let's see. He was instructed to get out of here, so he's got to get out of here. I'll take the disengage as a bonus action. 1, 2, 3.
Is he a rogue?
He is a created. And he's gonna dash this way and just laughing, cackling. You're next! Get out of here! As he starts to run. Alright, that's the end of his turn. We then go to Marlos. He is way away. And Jeremy, your turn.
Whatever.
Assuming Nestor's just out of combat then.
What's that?
I'm assuming Nestor's just out of combat then.
He's gonna be out of combat next turn.
If it matters, I get an AO, but I feel like it won't matter.
He disengaged.
Oh, you're right. Never mind.
He used escape. He can
Nope.
use disengage or
You're
hide as a
absolutely
bonus
right.
action.
I completely forgot you know. Okay, never mind.
It's all good.
I'm gonna engage number 2 here.
All right.
Three attacks.
3 attacks. 23
not
hits.
The hotkey. Like I don't know
15
why
and
it's doing
14 miss.
that. Well, so 14. Everything I rolled.
Oh,
was
you
just
didn't
plus
add your
10.
bonus, so yeah,
Yeah.
the 15, yeah, those all
So
hit.
the lowest I hit was a 21.
Yeah.
Fucking Nether
I
Rocknar.
like that he can't control it.
Yeah,
Like, that's
honestly, it's so justified, and it's hilarious.
43 damage.
as you run out of the tent, you see number 2 is kind of like looking down, and you follow the gaze and see Varaka's corpse like on the ground, like she's like slowly bleeding out, holding these big wounds in her chest. And as the cultist kind of starts to descend to do like a killing blow, you just brain him with your hammer and just splatter skull fragments all over the floor. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
You can move out of that space if you'd like to.
Yeah,
use your...
I'll move out to get out of the tent.
Okay. You're out of the fire tent. There we go. End of your turn is then going to be the Earth Cultists. He is dead. Cult Thugs. The Cult Thugs are frightened by Micah, so they're going to run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. This one is actually going to crawl into the tent, try to hide. This one is going to run past. He's going to get up and run past you, Snafu. And he's going to run back, like this way toward this longhouse. Number 4 is going to run without disengaging, so you both get tax opportunity on him. Jarek missed.
Fire. Missed.
You want to take a attack of opportunity against number 4 there, Jesse?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, top opportunity, because I have Warcaster, I will use Eldritch Blast.
There you go.
I suppose I should roll for damage.
Ah, he said it.
18, 12, and 26.
All hit. Or the 12 doesn't hit, but
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
really? These guys
No,
are
the
bitches.
12 doesn't. I realized I just said 26 that you weren't rolling a natural like 12, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
28.
28.
28.
That is enough to take him out of the game. As he runs for his life from the giant glowing dragon creature above him, you just blindly fire into his back. Just, falls into the dirt. That's the end of the cult thug's turn. We then go to Minor.
This guy right here, I'm gonna kind of Obi-Wan be like, "Hello there," as I shoot an arrow into him.
All right. He is surprised. He did not know you were there, so you get the drop on him.
Do I get advantage?
Yeah.
About a 21.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage.
And I will throw a pushing attack into this too.
Okay. Nat 3, so his ass is going into the tent.
Fire trap.
He is kind of flung back with the surprise and the arrow to the chest, stumbles back into the wreckage, takes the 20. He is knocked prone and
It's gonna be 25. It actually takes 32 piercing altogether.
easily bloodied. All right. Anything else? More arrows, more movements.
Move out and see what the hell's going on out here, seeing that was kind of around the corner.
You see Varaka's corpse come next to Jeremy. You see that Calyx and Nestor are in full retreat. But you do hear commotion that way more people are coming.
Do I see much of this guy down here?
Yeah, you see Nestor on his way to run out to another part of the camp.
And I could probably hear him from around the corner being a little snot ball, right?
Yeah.
Let's put an attack on him. $27 to hit.
27 hits.
Let's do a trip attack.
Okay.
Please do.
I rolled 2 nat 3s.
Nice. Okay, he only takes 8 piercing on that, but he is tripped.
Okay. Not prone.
And then I guess I'll just swing at this guy. Take a shot at this guy over here, number 6.
Okay.
Ooh, 13, probably miss.
Nope. With his shields up, he has got more AC than that.
But yeah, I'll sharpshoot him. What the hell? Shouldn't have. Oh well.
Alright. And it's Nefu's turn. We then go to Micah.
Misa.
Oops.
So Nestor hasn't left yet. He is fleeing, right?
Yeah, you see I hate to say it, but you see he got an arrow to the knee. So
Ew.
And Varaka is dead, right?
She is dead.
Not just, okay.
yep, she has stopped breathing.
Quick question on that, John. Does she technically get death saves or anything like that, or?
Nope, she's a follower. She works on the 3 strikes you're out rule.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yep.
I guess I will land there. Let's see.
You're landing there.
Yes.
I'll keep the wing on you because you still have the capability of flight, but you're on the ground. All right.
And is his Nestor's sword magical?
It's metal. You can tell that much.
Okay. Is there anything on him that's not burned up? We'll put it that way.
I mean, he still has like charred leather armor
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. He has a small chitin shield, like his gear.
Mhm.
But you can tell that from what you see in the majority of spiders, you're pretty proficient in the way. A lot of his abilities are coming from his psionic abilities.
Right. Is there anything on him that you would constitute as an object that is not magical?
His sword.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. I'm going to use my second science. Is he on that square, or is he just leaving off the board?
He's on that square.
Okay.
That's where he was able to get to.
Okay. If that's the case, is there anything in front of him?
Nope.
Like where he's going?
In front of him?
Yeah.
There's just, I'll say there's like another tent, like another 15 feet, like ahead into like to the north of him. But beyond that, there's a trail that just winds around past the main gates are kind of like between Calix's tent and like the next tent. And just like around the other side is some more buildings like that they have erected and some more tents. So it looks like he's gonna run to the other side of the camp.
Okay. That tent that's within 15 feet of him, ahead of him,
Yeah.
I'm going to detonate.
Okay.
It just detonates. It's instantly destroyed. Each creature within 20 feet of it makes a dex saving throw.
Okay.
I was gonna detonate his sword, and I'm like, we're all right here actually, so never mind.
He got an 18 on that dex.
Yes, that passes, but he takes half.
Okay.
So let me see here.
I would just like to give quick shout out. Thank you to the publishers of Masters and Minions for this wonderful creature called the Created. That is Nestor Vile. He is a son of a bitch.
Who tripped and fell down?
Jeez, I'm rolling all these dice, and I'm rolling 1s and 2s and 3s on him. He takes 23 fire damage.
23 fire. He is actually bloodied for the first time in this fight. All right.
And then, actually, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to use my bonus action that I have to do another breath weapon at him.
Okay. Another dex save.
Yeah.
Yep, that one's above a 15.
Okay, 18.
Yep.
So he failed or passed?
He passed. It's +6.
Okay. So he takes half as much.
Yep.
And then he takes 22 cold damage.
22. He's in double digits. All right.
That's all I got.
All right. Calix sees what's going on. He's about 30 feet ahead. He's going to turn around and he's going to cast a spell.
Oh, the catapult also goes too.
Yep. He's going to cast... touch? No, it's range. Cool. You see him covered by a shimmering red curtain that Calix seems to be holding up with his is it concentration? It is not. Cool. He casts it and you see this sort of ward covering Nestor's body. And he says, "Come, we must flee! Now is not the time." And it's going to be Calix's turn. The catapult goes off. It's going to target everything around there. Alright. You see a boulder flatten this tent that those two were hiding in. So this tent is flattened. Boom. You just see a pool of blood start to seep out from underneath, like the stained fabric of that flap. You do realize that you're sort of in bombardment range, so it might be a good idea to get back to the Siegebreaker. At the end of the Catapult's turn is the Cult Wizards. They are actually going to pull back because I think they kind of know this fight's not won. They are going to flee. This one, however, number 7, is going to try one more Sacred Flame on you, Micah. Go ahead and give me a dex save.
Okay. 7 plus. You said dex save, right?
Yep.
9.
9 total?
Yep.
Okay. You're going to take 5 points of radiant damage. And I'm going to roll for the skull. Alright. As you are kind of bathed in this light, Micah, you can tell that the skull reacts and makes this sort of pulse kind of go out, and it makes this sort of golden aura erupt from you for just this second, and as it ripples out, it touches the gates nearby next to the tent, and the gates go and they swing open. With that, at the end of your turn, the end of their turn, we then go to number 8, Jesse.
So can I see Nestor?
Yes.
Okay.
He is prone.
What? Correct me if I'm wrong, but when a target is prone, they get advantaged on ranged attacks?
Versus ranged attacks, yes.
No, you have
You have
ranged
disadvantage
attacks
on
have
them.
disadvantage on them if they're prone.
Yeah. Damn. I just got to throw the trident. Alright, that's all I have to do. So I can still get up to him. He is going nowhere.
Okay. Are you targeting with an attack or a spell?
Attack.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
$18.
That meets. Go ahead and attack him.
Okay.
You sense that the protective ward, the sanctuary, if you will, that was placed over him is protecting his body against attacks. Calyx knows the value of his best assassin, and he wants to keep him alive as long as he can.
Oh shit. I got a natural 19 and a natural 20.
Nice. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh. Okay, I'll start with the crit. $21 for the crit.
Okay.
And 22 for the normal.
Okay. You stab into him repeatedly, and he's just blood flying out of these wounds, and he just screams in pain. But you see he's gritting his teeth. He's still under the effect of this ward. He is slowed, he is bloodied, but he's still alive.
I just use one of the fork ends of the trident and just get it around his neck and pin him to the ground.
You could try. It would be a grapple. If it would be. Do you have any other attacks?
I used my attack and extra attack.
Okay, so unfortunately, you could use one of those attacks in place of doing damage to
Mhm.
do, a grappling attack.
Mhm.
But that's what your follower has just done. He rolled a nat 20. So you see Jarek just dive bombs on him and just, you bastard! Oh, actually, hold up. He has to make a wisdom saving throw because he's still under the effect of Sanctuary.
He gets
Not
plus.
pass.
No, he gets +5 because he's close to me.
+5. Okay, he does actually. That puts him over the edge. So Jarek pounces on him and just holds him down. This red aura just protecting the body of Nestor. As he's, you bastard! And he just like holds him down into the dirt. Jesse's turn. Jared.
I'm gonna get as close as I can as well to Nestor. And I'd like to open up. I'm gonna open up Scorching Ray. And
Let's get as close as we can to Nestor. There we go.
Okay. Fire Spirit will follow me. So wherever, within 5 foot. I'll
Scorching Ray on those ranged attacks.
Those are ranged attacks.
right. Spell attack. Okay. On a hit. Okay.
You're gonna get okay. So first, you're gonna have to roll me a wisdom saving throw
Okay. 1 or 4?
for just the action of attacking him.
Okay. Before I do anything more, I will cast it as a level 5 spell attack. Will be 21.
Nope. First, Jared. First, we're gonna do that wisdom saving throw because if you
Oh,
fail
wisdom.
it,
I'm
you
sorry,
lose
I'm
the
sorry.
spell.
Yep, got it. Straight up wisdom would be
Wisdom saving throw.
yeah.
Okay.
Will be 27.
Okay, that's enough to pass.
I do good there.
Well, I gotta make sure. So
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
all right, and then he is prone, so you're gonna get disadvantage on all these spell attacks.
Okay, let me make a fresh one then. If that's damage. Grady has disadvantage because that was a nat 20 and a nat 15 plus 9.
Okay, so 15 hits.
Okay, plus 9. Okay.
Yep.
So for the first one, one additional ring. So I'll do this 5 times.
Okay.
First one's gonna be 13.
Okay.
Second attack will miss because that was a 3.
Okay.
How about a 30, 20?
That's a hit.
Number 3 will deal 11.
11. Okay.
4's attack is gonna be a 15.
That's gonna be missed.
Hit. And number 5 will be a 22.
That's a hit.
There's another 14 fire damage.
Okay.
And then the fire spirit itself will make a fire spit attack.
He has to roll a wisdom
Either
save.
Whatever. Flame seed. Will attack modifier to hit. 16 plus 9. And that
Was your thing has to make a wisdom save.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It won't. Okay, never mind. So it won't do anything.
You have the willpower to break through this sort of glamour, but your summoned spirit does not.
Okay. And that'll be it for me.
All right. Nestor, pounded, beaten, bloodied, is going to cry out in one desperate maneuver here. And he is going to unleash his eye one more time. Go ahead, everybody. So it's going to be everybody within 30 feet of him. It's going to be actually everybody with Rocknar and Snafu. Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Everybody within 10 feet of me gets +5.
Cool. That'll help.
So everybody but the fire spirit and old man.
I got 18.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Also 7.
Jarek got an 8.
Damn it, Jared.
And Radgast got a 6. So Radgast is going to take... $25. That's enough to kill him, but that's enough to put him down. He gets knocked out, and he is stunned. So Radgast is essentially KO'd for this one. He just gets knocked down. That was 26. Jarek gets a strike, but he still has 2 left. Alright. Jarek gets knocked back, and he is stunned. The rest of you are not. That was his big gambit, so he is going to use his turn to stand. And he is going to book it for the gates. You all get attacks of opportunity, those of you who are next to him. So this is going to be your last chance.
I'll do what I did last time.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast.
He attacked, so he is no longer protected under the guise of that glamour of Sanctuary. By the way, those of you who passed, you still take 14 points of psychic damage.
Are you gonna grapple him, Jesse, or are you just going to?
No, I'm Eldritch Blasting him.
Okay.
I got a natural 3, that's a 13. That probably misses.
That's the miss.
A 24 and a 29.
Those 2 hit.
.6. Force.
Jared, do you have an attack of opportunity that you would like to take?
I do. Excuse me. Warcaster allows me to cast a single target spell, aka pretty much my firebolt. I would like to use meta magic to double that.
Okay.
Cast it twice.
Can you meta magic on a reaction?
It just says, I will double check the wording, but it basically just says I double whatever single target spell that I'm casting. You get the wording.
Let's see.
Gonna say, is it take an action or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think it just twins whatever. It's called twinned magic. Twin spell. When you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self, you can spend a number of sorcery points, which I have 2, equal the spell's level. Cast a second creature, which my level's 0. It's a cantrip. To be eligible, a spell must be incapable of targeting more than one creature at the spell's current level. It doesn't really say anything about action.
And then that's fine with me.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Yeah, I only have 2 sorcery
We'll
points, so
allow
it's not like
I just want to make sure we're doing it by the book.
Yeah, cool. Alright. Alright, so anyway, number 1 is gonna be a 30-20 to hit.
That's a hit.
Plus Alright. So the first one's gonna be 6, 7, 8, 9. 16 fire damage.
Okay.
Second one's a natural 19 with a 9 kicker.
That's gonna be more than enough. Between the both of you, he runs for the gate. You see Calyx also running for the gate now that the Temple of Elements of Evil has opened its maw to the outside world. Calyx rushes in, takes one fleeting look back as the corpse of his faithful servant Nestor Vile is just lit aflame and just collapses into a pile of blasted ashes. You see him sort of curse and then continue running as this cult pours into the gates of the temple. I'm going to take us out of combat.
Woo!
And back kind of to the freedom region here. Excuse me. As you guys are sort of seeing everything go in sort of chaos, now that the gates are open, you see that all the cultists that can possibly get through the gates are running through the gates. What would you like to do as a party? Like, there's just sort of a swarm of chaos around you.
Cultists are running into the gates.
Yes.
I want Micah to message Breck Guy again and tell him to aim the catapult at the gates.
Okay. Micah, do you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Do I notice that happening?
I mean, yeah, you hear him say that.
I will throw another plant growth 100-foot range just wherever I can. I got spell sniper, so I can launch it pretty far, but 100-foot cube anywhere most convenient.
Okay.
So to slow their advance down.
You do that. The starts to catapult the gates. As you start to do that, though, you see a group of about 40 more cultists rushing your position.
Yeah, I think we need to fall back.
Fred is getting out now.
I'll take Radgast and I'll just kind of drape him on me and fly back.
Okay. He's unconscious. You can still hear him breathing, but he did get knocked out from that last spell.
I'm going to revive Jarek and grab, I don't remember her name.
Gronk.
She's been dead to me for so long.
Yeah.
Baraka.
Baraka's effects, and make a tactical withdrawal.
Okay. As you guys pull back to the safety of the Siegebreaker, it is going to live up to its name as it starts to lay siege to the Mausoleum of Shavarm. You see that the Earth Cultist leader Marlos has reappeared on one end of the fence and is starting to lead people underneath like a tunnel he has created with his earth magic, kind of underneath that in area that has been bombarded with all of the vines and the grasping vines, and just sort of the path underneath into the temple itself. You can tell that a lot of the cultists are being held up in that, however, slowly being picked off by arrows and siege fire from the Siegebreaker. As you're kind of close to the outside, it's a good 30-50 feet to the gates of the temple itself. Do you want the Siegebreaker to stay outside of the gates of the temple, or do you want it to actually break through the gates to get to the temple itself?
There's too many followers. I would think we'd want to guard it for now, but Beretta's no tactician.
I mean, we have to get in there to stop them. John, do I know that the skull was just a key to opening the gate, or is there some other significance to it?
You can realize that this skull has more significance to it. You have a very vital key to whatever's in there, but whatever it is at least opened the doors.
Okay.
Micah has the skull.
Yeah, I have it in a haversack.
Well, if you have the skull and the skull opens the gate, can you use it to close it and shut them out?
I can attempt to. I'm gonna need your assistance in making sure I don't get possessed, probably, but... Is that something I think, with my intelligence, I'd be capable of doing, John?
You can certainly try.
Tom's like, do it. I'm going to hopefully foil your plans, or at least buff them a little bit. Let me see here. I'm going to do...
What role
Okay.
do you make to resist possession, Micah?
It probably varies. Usually it's either will or intelligence, but most of the time it's wisdom.
Wisdom or
Okay,
intelligence?
well, there are two things I can do. We'll get you back onto the Siege Breaker, and I'll cast Sanctuary on you, where it's not a concentration, but it lasts for a minute. Until the spell ends, the creature who's targeted is warded. And whenever they become attacked by a harmful spell, the attacker must make a wisdom save. Or am I reading this right? Yeah, any creature who attacks the warded creature with a harmful spell must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed saving throw, they must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell.
Yep.
It doesn't protect you from like explosions and AOs or AOEs. But then, as my concentration, I can also cast Beacon of Hope on you. Which lasts for a minute, but for the duration of it, you get advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regain your maximum number of hit points possible from any healing. That's about all I can offer, besides like a.
Well, and then I mean your aura.
assistance.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
aura.
and the aura.
So, okay. And then I'm going to also cast Tower of Iron Will on myself. That's a defense mode.
Okay.
It takes 10 minutes to manifest, so I'm going to do this for a few minutes, but then it lasts for an hour.
Okay.
For the duration, whenever you make a wisdom saving throw, you treat a d20 result of 9 or lower as a 10.
Okay.
Fuck it. I'll power boost it too. I'll spend an additional 5 PSPs to extend it in case he's trying to ping anyone around me.
Okay.
To 30 feet.
Okay.
So they all get the benefit as well.
Okay. So
Fine.
warded, boosted, and enhanced as you can be. Go ahead and give me an Arcana test.
Okay.
Are you rolling advantage on that, Micah?
Should I be?
Can be. Like to be.
It's not gonna hurt.
Peretta comes up and offers you her help. Boost your intellect. Enhance ability.
Alright.
All right. Anything else that people want to throw onto this?
I was gonna say we've
we are
got Druidism,
spirit-bombing Micah right now.
Psionism, and the Divine all working in tandem right now.
And my axe.
And my axe.
Do you want a spider cake for shits and giggles?
Alright, yeah.
Snafu wants to feel useful, damn it.
I just picture Jeremy going up to him and he's like, here's my hammer. Just drops it in his lap.
I'm fond of it. You could use it.
I'm getting mind controlled by the skull, and he drops the hammer on my foot, and I just like, just like snap out of it. I got 26 on Arcana.
That was with advantage?
That was with advantage.
Okay. As you plunge into the skull and push your will past this sort of like, almost like a skull-like golden palace that you see kind of in its inner thoughts, you see that the will is straining against these chains placed on it. It's like this shapeless, formless mass kind of encased in a white bubble of pure magic. but there are cracks to this magic. Now that it's kind of getting closer and closer to its point of origin, as you kind of approach this giant, massive, writhing black cloud of malice, you kind of put your hands up and attempt to wrestle control over whatever is inside of the skull. With a 26, you realize that you're not able to fully mend what has happened, but you get a choice at this point. You can reactivate the Stone Guardians so that they'll attack whoever does not possess the skull, or you can reseal the front gates so that they cannot be opened unless by like supreme force. Like the front doors of the temple.
So not even the gates, but the front doors.
Yes.
Are the front doors open right now too?
The front doors have been opened, yes. The gates and the doors to the temple are open.
And didn't Malos, or whatever his name, Malos, didn't he make a tunnel inside?
He made a tunnel inside.
So even shutting the doors isn't going to really do a whole lot. I guess, yeah, I'll just activate the Guardians.
Okay. As you repair the one crack, you were instantly pulled out of that crystal palace of the skull, and as you open your eyes, you see the gargoyles on the crenellations of the tower come back to life and start to swoop down on some of the cult members that are still caught in the vines and just rip them asunder with their claws. And the field of both vines and like random cultists, and like they've been firing arrows and catapults in there, is just now like a killing field of just gargoyles, arrows, and various bits of stone being fired from the catapult. As the siege against the mausoleum of Shavarm is happening, behind you hear the ogre say, "Master Kiliani, come look."
Oh, what now? Go look.
As you turn and kind of go to the back to of the Siegebreaker to look at the rear, back, facing you, you see approaching from the gap to the southwest or the southeast, just a wall of living fire. You see the entirety of the fire cult in like a large procession. And at the head of it, you see Vanifer. And that's where I'm going to end tonight's
Oh,
session.
god damn it. I'm glad I did something 2 sessions ago that I saved just for this moment.
So next time, we will see what happens when fire and water meet on the field of battle. Now that the full force of the eternal flame is going to meet the might of the crushing wave, and we'll see what happens when those two forces meet.
My guess is steam.
Am I gonna fight fire with fire?
I don't know. You might have to.
Yes!
But
Burn!
we'll find that out next time. You guys have slain a very powerful foe tonight, and I'm going to give you 20 XP for tonight's session.
Ooh, shit!
Yeah, that created was... I did not get a chance to properly set him up in his trap room, but he is powerful. So that was a good kill.
Nestor? Or...
Yeah, Nestor Vile.
Yeah, I was gonna say, holy smokes, we really did, kind of dogpile on him.
He had to. He had... Well, he has a ability called Implacable, where he just has advantage on all saving throws.
Oh, God, no wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
So...
Well, that was a great session, and what a start to our adventure here is the Ashen Wagon adventure.
The chronicle of the Temple of Elemental Evil here is getting thick. Looks like all of our forces have assembled at the temple. We'll see what happens next time.
thick with 2, no 3, no maybe 4 C's.
So many C's.
All right, gang. Well, thank you so much for tonight's meeting, John, as always, and everybody else. This was very exciting. We got a lot of combat and a lot of drama. So, do we think we'll be meeting next week?
I have every weekend off in this next month, so I am free for the rest of the month.
Okay. Anybody else maybe not free? Question mark? Anything else?
I will be unavailable on the 14th.
On when? The 4th?
14th.
14th. Okay, so not next week, but the week after.
Yeah, because that's the con, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we got a Comic Con, don't we?
We do.
The
Yep.
13th, 14th, 15th.
Yep.
Yeah, that Saturday.
Which
Okay.
So that
Which
weekend will
yeah.
probably be unavailable.
Yeah,
But
because
next
after
week
the
for
con,
sure,
I mean, after the con,
I
of
mean,
course, you all will be invited here if you'd like to play games or party or whatever. So.
Yeah, I took off the whole weekend.
Oh, good job. Yes. Yeah, I got Saturday off that weekend, so I'm
Good.
ready to throw down too.
Yeah, the scheduler was not happy because like there are
Too
a bunch
bad.
of people taking time off this month, and I was like, "Are you sure?" She was like, "Are you sure?" It's like, "Figure it out." It's like I never
You're
asked
like,
for time
this
off.
is my religious pilgrimage. You cannot interrupt.
I was gonna
this.
say this is the one thing I do. I take time off for every year, and that's about it. And I didn't get to go last year because I was in a wedding, and the year before that it was shut down because of COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, I am overdue.
Ready for the junior. I'm meeting him this year. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo. I'm gonna get his autograph on
Ooh.
my because he's Raul the Ghoul in New Vegas. So I'm gonna have him sign my New Vegas guide I have here. I have the special edition. So yeah, that's gonna be my two big autographs this year.
Nice.
So.
Brock says another successful Ashen Wagon adventure. He's been watching and cheering us on the whole time. So
Glad you joined us, Brock. Hopefully you get a kick out of the tense combat.
But yeah,
we've had going on tonight.
we've
so
had a pretty solid number tonight, so I'm pretty proud. This has been a pretty successful flagship adventure for us. But
yes.
okay, so looking like we'll probably play next week? Question mark. But kind of keep an eye out for my Twitter, and I'll try to announce and get things set up.
I'd say
ahead
it's a
of
very strong chance we'll be playing next week. So,
time.
and I did not make the siege breaker to not use it. So-
right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't mind flipping
We're gonna
between
be
the
breaking
two. I
some
get it.
siege.
The siege. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and send everybody off to the end screen that I designed for all this. So, yeah, I finally get to use it. Yay! I've been sitting on this for like a week and a half. But everybody have a great night. Thank you, everybody, as always, for tuning in, and all y'all.
I've been waiting to say this. We got to roll on, folks. So join us next time.
We gotta roll
Pull
on.
up a chair.
Ashen Wagon Adventures. All right, have a great night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you for joining us. Oh man, I was like, yeah, we're gonna end it with Banner first.
A good spot.
Good spot. All right. Have a good night, Jeremy.
See ya.
About your question, like, if you're looking for a familiar, like, basically any animal will work. It's basically just to be up to you. If you want to go through like the Dark Sun like monster manual, look up like